krld-fm and HD1, Dallas Fort Worth.
An Odyssey sports station.
105.3 The Fan and the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network present
Touchdown Cowboys!
Dallas Cowboys Football 2025 in crystal clear HD stereo. Today's pregame show is brought to you by
Volleman's Dairy, the official milk of the Dallas Cowboys. Arrow Exterminators, official pest control provider of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. And by DallasCowboys.com. Keep track of the boys with daily podcasts and up-to-the-minute blogging at DallasCowboys.com and on the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here's Eric Chiofalo and Bryan Broaddus.
All right, we're just over 3 hours to kick off Monday Night Football after the Cowboys bye week. Great to have you in the official pregame show of America's team. I'm Eric Chiofalo alongside the Super Bowl champion Bryan Broaddus, and I love this in the 406 in Vegas for the game right now. I've only seen like 4 Raiders fans. Going to be an absolute Cowboys takeover at Allegiant Stadium. Cowboys playing there in Las Vegas for the first time in the regular season. Cowboys sitting at 3-5-1. Raiders 2-7. Cowboys favored by 3.5. Broaddus, I'm calling this the must-win baby game. All right?
Must-win?
Must-win, baby.
Must-win, baby. I like that.
A little play on Al Davis.
I like that. Well, I appreciate you thinking about me. Must-win. Yeah. No, but, yeah, that's, yeah, absolutely.
Brad's going to crush me for this.
He shouldn't crush you for this because if this team really wants to get back into the I mean, they're in the hunt. But if you really want to get back into the thought of you making a run at this thing and having a chance against Philadelphia and Kansas City and Detroit, yeah, you got to win tonight. You've You've given away some games. You can say what you want about the Chicago Bears. I mean, I know what the record is right now, but at the time they weren't a very good football team. The Carolina Panthers, they're right now a 6-5 football team. They did a great job against you at Carolina. You've got to find a way to win that game, but you didn't. And, you clearly the Arizona game is an awful one right now. So, yeah, if you want to find a way to maybe give yourself a chance to put something together, you got to find a way to win this one tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if the Cowboys lose, I'm looking NFL.com playoff probability. Cowboys lose
4% right now.
Yeah, current's 4%. If you lose, it goes to 1%, and if you win, it takes you up just to 6%. Yeah. So even a win doesn't change a ton for you, but it does keep your hope alive in a way that a loss would pretty much end all playoff hopes.
You have to do something you have not done all year, which usually Cowboy teams are pretty good at, is putting together some wins. You have not done a very good job of that at all this year. And so, if you're going to have one of those streaks, it better start there in Las Vegas.
All right, so let's take a look at this bad boy. And we're loaded, as always, here on your Cowboys pregame show. We'll talk with ESPN's Lisa Salters live from Vegas here in just a little bit. Our player profile today, of course, DeMarvion Overshown.
How about that?
Making his season debut for the Cowboys tonight. That's very, very exciting. Inside the Star live from Vegas with Bobby Belt. We got Babe Laufenberg and Christy Scales. And we're rocking and rolling here on your Cowboys pregame show. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's the exciting part about tonight, and just for the rest of the season, you're going to start to see a lot of new faces, in particular defensively. Quinnen Williams, Logan Wilson, you're getting Malik Hooker back tonight. We'll see about Savon Ravel, how much he really plays, but he will be active making his debut.
Probably special teams more than anything, yeah.
Okay, and then it's DeMarvion Overshown as well. So how does the defense look? That's the big question. So many unknowns because there's just so much new to discuss when it comes to this defense, but this is a good opportunity here off the bye week, desperately needing a win. This Raiders team has struggled in a huge way. Right? I mean, I know they're going up against the Cowboys now, so everything we know about their offense and how bad it is almost rendered useless because we've seen Russell Wilson be terrible and then play the Cowboys look awesome, right? So just because Geno Smith has been terrible this year, the offensive line's been really, really bad, doesn't mean that the Raiders can't find a way to do something special tonight, but hopefully that's not the case, and I'm just excited to see a lot of these new guys.
Well, seeing new guys is exciting because you've seen a whole lot of bad at times this season. The big plays, the inability to get off the field on third down. Just there's been so many issues that this Dallas defense, whether it was a misevaluation, whether it was coaching errors, take your pick. They've had it all, and if they're going to try and get back in this thing, as we've talked about here the first few minutes, the defense is going to have to play remarkably better. And maybe the additions of a Quinnen Williams and maybe the additions of Logan Wilson and some others and Overshown, maybe they can make a difference in this defense. But there's still some spots that they have some question marks in. They still have some question marks at corner. I'd be interested to see how much Kalen Carson plays tonight. His run against the Arizona Cardinals was pretty favorable. I would not be hesitant to get him out there quickly in this game. And see if he can kind of build on that. But they're going to need to play remarkably different than what they've played the first 10 weeks of the season.
Okay, so how do you approach things defensively tonight? All these new faces for the Cowboys, and then you're going up against a Raiders team that, like we said, they've struggled, the offensive line, but you do have big names. Ashton Genty at running back, and especially Brock Bowers, best tight end in the league. What's the plan? How do you approach these guys?
Well, it's a team that, as I mentioned earlier, and as we kind of broke them down during the week, they're a team that does not throw the ball down the field. They just do not have the air yards. I think a lot of it has to do with the skill players that they have. They just don't have that game breaker. Trey Tucker is a good receiver. I'm not going to say a great receiver, but he's a guy that when you watch him play, He is the one guy that can go vertical, but they just don't get him the football. I would not be surprised today if you do see Trey Tucker, if they try a vertical route. I know watching the Commanders tape late in that game, they just blocked it up and took a shot, and it worked out. And Dallas, as we mentioned in in our show in the pre-game show, we were talking about how the Dallas has really been struggling with some of the deep balls and playing the deep ball down the field. So I would not be surprised if the Raiders, if they just launch a couple of shots on you and see if you're good enough to do that. Now, their offensive line has to hold up, and their offensive line has really struggled with their health. It's not a very skilled group. They don't have outstanding guys with strength and pass protection ability. Dallas should be able to do some good against this offensive line. But if all of a sudden we're watching this game and it looks like Geno Smith, he's into some rhythm throwing the football, and they're not getting any pressure, much like we saw, against the Giants with Russell Wilson, then this is going to be a long day for the Cowboys.
Yeah, and I do think that there is the Cowboys have improved the pass rush since that Giants game.
They have, and if you Donovan Azaraku has become a much better player. Clowney has has kind of got himself into shape and got him ready to play. I'd be interested to see how maybe Eberflus tries to use Overshown. Do you bring him on a rusher too?
I think you have to.
You have to. Yeah, I mean,
he should be one of your best blitzers.
There's no question. I mean, you've got to find a way to get him involved. You've got to make these Raiders backs have to do some blitz pickup stuff. You got to make this Raider offensive line have to identify some blitz pickups too. That has been a little bit of a problem for them as well.
Okay. Now, when it comes to trying to slow down Bowers, I know you don't feel good about.
I don't have an answer.
One individual.
I don't have.
You got to double him, right? Like, shouldn't you put somebody up on the line of scrimmage on him? Well, I guess I should ask, how often do they use him just out?
They move him
wide?
around. They will move him around. You'll see him play in the slot. You'll see him play as a wing.
Okay.
I mean, they're going to do some things to try. They realize that he is one of their better offensive players. So what happens there is it turns into now, okay, well, how do we move him around so defenses can't get a beat on him? So that's what they're going to do. I have a feeling if you want to start to talk about by moving him around, it's a little bit more difficult to have to double him because you're going to have to adjust along with that. Mm-hmm. It's hard to even double a guy when he's playing in line or tight to the line of scrimmage. If you put him in bunch formations and scatter him out of that, that's a hard thing. So they have plans for how to keep you from doubling. I just don't think Dallas has anybody that can walk up and just take him in this football game. I think he's going to be a primary target for the Raiders tonight in this football game.
Yeah, because I just think about the last game where it's Trey McBride for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
He didn't have a monster performance, but he didn't really have to.
Didn't have to.
But he still had the touchdown, and a couple of times where it's one-on-one, it's Marquise Bell, and he's just lost in coverage. So, that's a huge concern.
Absolutely.
Brock Bowers is the real deal.
Yeah. Him and Michael Mayer both are the types of guys that you do need to figure out how you're going to play them in this game.
What about from like a Genty, of course, running the football, but what about how much are they throwing him the ball? What's their screen game look like? How much of that are they doing?
I haven't noticed that I haven't noticed the screen game. He's capable of catching the football, though.
No doubt.
He is capable of making the plays as the swing. Dallas has shown an inability to be able to handle stuff to the flats. Has been a problem for them all year. Ball to the flat, whether it's back release. If I'm the Raiders, I absolutely try. Their offensive line just isn't good enough for a screen game. Their offensive line just doesn't have the guys that could get to the outside and get blocks in space.
But yeah, quick pass, Genty to the flat, dare guys to tackle him.
Anything, like a quick, just anything, just shoot him to the flat, throw him the ball, let him catch it and run. That could very well be. Dallas just has not, because of a lot of the zone coverage they played, they have not been very good in the flats with the corner play or linebacker play when it comes to that.
How much Logan Wilson do you expect to see?
I expect to see quite a bit of him. I think in the off week that he did the cram course of trying to learn the defense and learn everything's going on. So, they just don't have a lot of linebackers that are quality. We've seen what's going on at linebacker for the Cowboys. Logan Wilson needs to play in this football game because the one thing he can do is he can play coverage. Well,
how do they try to attack you from a rushing attack standpoint? What's their bread and butter there?
It's everything it's zone blocking schemes is what it is.
Okay.
So they're going to step hard one way, right or left, and they're going to just try and kind of take the guy in the gaps. But they've given up, as we talked about. Ashton Jeanty gets hit at the line quite a bit. He gets hit behind the line quite a bit. The inside plays, I told you they were right about 2.8 yards a carry on inside runs, 5.4 on the outside runs. I anticipate they're going to try and challenge. They're going to try and challenge Clowney. They're going to try and challenge Ezeraku on those edges. Their best path to running the football is on the edges. That's where they've had the most success. Inside running game has been really non-existent.
Okay, yeah, and now, especially with Quinnen Williams in the middle,
and Clark as well.
Yeah, and Clark, of course. You're going to have that trio with Osa and Quinnen and Clark. How much do you expect to see them all three on the field at the same time?
There's thoughts that they're going to play some 5-man front.
They did a lot of it versus the Cardinals.
Yeah, I would anticipate that we're going to see some of it, but like I said, it's going to be a matter of, are you worried? How worried are you about Ashton Jeanty running the football? That's where your 5-man fronts seem to come in play, because you're trying to get everybody. You got everybody across the offensive line accounted for, so you really have a hard time. They have a hard time with those double team blocks. So you're going to play some 5-man line if you're really. I would say they're going to probably start with their base 4-man line. But if all of a sudden Ashton Jeanty finds success running the ball, then you're going to see them get into some 5-man line stuff.
All right, we're just getting started here on the official pregame show of America's team. Under 3 hours to kickoff. Let's take a look at this Cowboys offense versus this Raiders defense. And 877-881-1053. Who is your breakout player for the second half of this Cowboys season? We'll do it next right here on The Fan.
Cowboys fans,
Cowboys in Vegas to take on the Raiders. Welcome into the official pregame show of America's team. 877-881-1053. Who is your pick to be the Cowboys breakout player for the second half of the season? Would love to hear from you at 877-881-1053, as well as the Meat Church menu of the day. We will go ahead and crown that by the time we get to the top of the hour. I know Stephen Weatherford already bringing it strong. Listen to what Stephen Weatherford's got cooked up. Smoked brisket, Meat Church smoked brisket, deviled eggs, Mexican street corn, white chicken chili with Blanco seasoning, and frozen prickly pear vodka lemonade. I mean, all out, Steve, for Monday Night Football. You get the bye week going, all of a sudden you start getting that itch like, all right, now it's time to lock in and get serious. It sounds like Steve's doing just that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to pull all that together on a Monday. That's
a pun on the day's work for something like that.
That's like a guy that kind of quit his gig.
Yeah.
Or he just took the day off. I'd like to know if Steve is unemployed and just has turned to a life of being a pitmaster, because he's got it working there. That's a lot of items for a Monday.
Yeah, that's going to be giving Robert in Carrollton a run for his money for the Meat Church Menu of the Day champion. Now, in the meantime, before we get to our breakout player selections, Broaddus, what are your thoughts on this Cowboys offense right now, in particular going up against Max Crosby and the Raiders defense?
Yeah, that's going to be the issue. And, the one thing that we've seen Dak Prescott do all year is avoid pressure. You've seen him
right up until the Cardinals game.
Absolutely.
And the Broncos game was tough as well, but that's the best.
And in the last two games, you've had problems, right?
Yeah.
And see, that's where I think there's some things of Dak Prescott that's kind of been the deodorant that's hid some of the stink of what's happened with some of your offensive line play.
For sure.
And
he was the number one quarterback under pressure to start this season. He was playing lights out by a mile.
And you were dealing with some injuries. You were dealing with guys out of place. Mm-hmm. You had your center missing time. Your right guard missed time. Your left guard is not completely healthy, I don't believe, with the knee tendonitis and stuff like that. So, and then the right tackle has been to the point where we're now talking about his job security. And the left tackle is trying to kind of learn along the way. I think in this game this week, a key that you need to keep an eye on is, where does Williams help in pass protection from the running back spot? Are they going to find ways to? Are they going to space? Are they going to space Max Crosby by putting an extra guy over, make him have to play a little wider? Are they going to bring guys in motion and try and chip him? The one guy that cleans up a lot of messes of the Dallas Cowboys offensive line when they have breakdowns is Williams as the running back.
Yeah, he's got highlight reel blocks.
He has got a real feel for how to pick up, how to read. His eyes are going to be on number 98. And he has a good feel where he needs to fit. Now, hear me out on this one, though, boys and girls. You're in a situation right now, though, where these offensive tackles, when we do the metrics at the end of the day and look at it, they're on their own about 80% of the game. So how much in this game, when we get to the end of it, hopefully a Cowboys victory, how much of this were the offensive tackles by themselves on Max? And Max Crosby will go right and left. Don't feel like that he won't play both sides. Tyree Wilson will also play left and right. He's been kind of a guy that's been a little bit a high draft pick that really hasn't lived up to the billing.
Yeah.
But you never know. You never know what this might be that game. But I keep an eye on how much these Cowboy offensive tackles are by themselves in this game.
Okay, so that's like by design. Like you're coming in as a coaching staff being like, we're just going to trust these offensive linemen to do what they need to do, trust Dak to handle the pressure.
There's been games where it's 77%, 78%, 81%. There's been a lot of games where these guys have been left on an island to have to deal with these guys.
Well, I was noticing, too, not only do they move Crosby from right to left, but like on obvious passing situations, they'll kick him inside a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Have him work versus some guards.
Yep.
And so really anybody could have a matchup with Crosby
Whatever
tonight.
they feel like that they can maybe win at, they're going to probably put a guy over that spot.
Yeah, and when you think about this Cowboys offense right now, you've seen some slippage over the last couple of weeks, and the Broncos one is sort of excusable because we know how dominant that defense is right now. But then that Cardinals game was really, really frustrating, and the red zone issues have become pretty apparent. It's the penalties, the turnovers, but trying to get things figured out in the red zone right now. I think when you're thinking about either side of the ball, for the Cowboys, I would look at the red zone where they go from weeks 1 through 5, over 68% of the time, they're scoring a touchdown, 13 touchdowns on 19 red zone drives. Weeks 6 through 9, that dropped from 68% to 53%, 8 touchdowns on 15 red zone drives. So they've had issues down there. On the flip side, I think for the Cowboys defense, there's a laundry list of issues, but just getting off the field on the third downs.
Yeah, I think if you look at Cowboys red zone trips, need to probably go back and find out the number there's been a negative play, a penalty, something like that to kind of...
Yeah, stuffed run or a penalty.
Yeah, you just... Is there something that happened along the way that didn't allow them to be at their optimum there?
Okay, 877-881-1053. Who's your pick to be Cowboys breakout player for the second half of the season? Our buddy Peterson in San Diego is going with George Pickens, who certainly has a lot on the line. He has, he's really been fantastic for the most part, as fun a player to watch on the Cowboys this season. And even when CeeDee Lamb went down, he just took his game to the next level. If Pickens can duplicate or even do better than what he did through the first chunk of the season, then that would be outstanding, especially for him and the checkbook that should be coming his way.
I'm going to put you on the spot right now. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay, here we go. Am I even ready for this? Is my body ready for this?
Probably not even ready for this one. Has Pickens been a better player than Lamb this year? And I say that in no disrespect to CD, but have you felt like the eye test is, and I know CD was out for a couple of weeks there.
Yeah, that hurts.
But do you feel like that George Pickens has been more of a problem for opponents than CD Lamb?
I think there's certainly a case to be made for that.
Sure.
When you think about what he's done, finding the end zone, big plays, even when on the stat sheet he doesn't get it, it's a DPI for a huge play.
Yeah.
It's right there. His biggest games, it was the Panthers game. He had 9 catches for $168 and a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then the Packers game, 8 catches, $134 and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, I think I would need to look at Lamb's numbers a little bit, but like you said, eye test, and you've seen more of Pickens this year. And what he's done on third down, too. Like, you go to George Pickens on third down, it's 100% conversion rate. He's getting the first. So...
29 receptions outside the numbers this year. That's the second highest in the league. When you look at how George Pickens plays.
Yeah, that him and Dak down the sideline has been music.
Ferguson in the middle of the field is like a top player, and then George Pickens on the outside is a top player in the league when it comes to that.
Yeah, I think with the fact that Lamb has missed time and Pickens really stepped up in a big way when he did miss, I think it's fair to say that Pickens has been the more productive player.
Well, you look at too, and like you go back, and even like the ones. And George Pickens is not a guy that's always going to run away from you, but he is. When you look at him and like those tight window throws that Dak has had to make, this guy's been money. I think he's top 5. When it comes to catch rate on tight window throws, I think he's over 50% of those.
Wow.
And that's pretty salty for that position. But man, he's been big time. And I don't mean that as a slam to I don't mean that as a slam at all to CeeDee Lamb. I think the eye test will tell you that George Pickens has looked pretty damn good for you this year. and maybe even better than what Lamb has done.
All right, the creators of Buffalo bring you NFL casino games. Kick off with America's team on and off the reels with Cowboys-themed casino games developed by Aristocrat, a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Do you have a gambling problem? Please contact 1-800-GAMBLER for 21 and over. Our buddy Tim in Carthage is going with Jake Ferguson to be the second half breakout. We got a lot of love for Ezeraku in the 817 and in the 469. A couple of guys on Ferguson, 972 going with Ferguson there. A couple of overshown selections here as well.
Kalen Carson would be mine. I think Kalen Carson's about that. I think he's about to be the type of player that we saw at Wake Forest. I know it's 1 week, but I think he's going to stack one this week, and then we're going to get into that.
Wow. Okay. I like that, dude. I don't think anybody would be pulling that name out.
Gonna give it a go.
You.
Give it a go.
Give it a go. Small sample, but you liked what you saw with him versus the Cardinals.
I'm just saying, though, he's a guy that played with a whole lot of confidence in that football game last week.
Ezeraku and Booker, I think just rookies that you're seeing play pretty well, and especially Ezeraku coming on in a big way. But I'm going to go with Osa now that you have Quinnen Williams in there and all the attention that he's going to command. I'm just hopeful that Osa can start to look like the player that we saw before, and I think he's been one of the guys that's suffered with the loss of Micah Parsons. He's seen a lot of double teams, a lot of attention. Quinnen Williams should go ahead and remedy some of that. All right, here we go. 2 hours, 41 minutes to kick off Monday Night Football. Cowboys in Vegas to take on the Raiders. Let's go live to Vegas and welcome in ESPN's Lisa Salter. She'll be on the sidelines tonight for Monday Night Football, and she joins us next right here on The Fan.
Hey, I'm Brett Podolsky, co-founder of The Farmer's Dog. We make fresh food for dogs. We started the company when we saw what a huge difference it made in my own dog, Jada, when she stopped eating ultra-processed kibble and started eating fresh, whole food. The Farmer's Dog food isn't fancy. It's just real food delivered to your door in pre-portioned packs. It's better for them and easier for you.
Get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/trial50. That's thefarmersdog.com/trial50.
Window Nation, the star of window replacement and proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys, can help you fill your house this season with savings. Right now, get 50% off all styles of windows and make no payments with no interest for 24 months. Fill your home with energy-efficient windows for a customized, authentic Dallas Cowboys jersey, and you can even help fill the Cowboys house and win tickets to a game. Call 866-90 Nation or visit windownation.com/Cowboys now for details. Window Nation, proud partner of your Dallas Cowboys.
Ho, ho, ho. Straight from the North Pole, Santa is once again at the Star in Frisco. Santa Claus will be meeting fans and spreading holiday cheer. Capture the magic with frame-worthy holiday photos at Santa at the Star. Presented by Monument Realty. And share your Christmas gift requests with Santa himself. All the way through Christmas Eve. Don't miss your chance to make unforgettable holiday memories that last a lifetime. Book your visit now at thestardistrict.com/Santa.
Whether you're in the courtroom or on the field, winning matters. As a proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys, Barberi Law Firm understands the stakes when your life is on the line. Our clients have a lot to lose, so we use our 25 years of criminal defense experience to handle each case with precision and dedication. Led by board-certified attorney and specialist Heather Barberi, we provide VIP treatment and a relentless pursuit of justice. Choose Barberi Law Firm for a masterful defense. Call 682-LAW-STAR.
Hey Cowboys Nation, this November, show your support for men's health with Gillette, the official grooming partner of Movember. Now through December 6th, Gillette will donate $1 to Movember for every Gillette Labs razor purchase to help fight prostate cancer. Make every shave count. Fans can visit pgbrandsaver.com/Movember for details. Exclusions apply. Gillette, the best a man can get.
These players look so fresh. It's like they go to the barbershop every day.
Go to the barbershop? Mike, come on now. They have their own barbers. And you know what tools they use? Babyliss Pro. Next time you go to the barbershop, look at what tools your barber is using, and I bet you it's Babyliss Pro.
So you're saying if...
in Vegas to take on the Raiders, and ESPN's sideline reporter Lisa Salters, she'll be on the sidelines for Monday Night Football tonight, as she has been for many, many years, and she will be joining us here momentarily live from Vegas. Friendly reminder, our buddy Corey Majors from the KNC Masterpiece will be hosting another watch party tonight at the Bearded Monkey in Forney. Kickoff is at 7:15, so head out, watch the game with Corey. Plenty of Tolo giveaways and fun at the Bearded Monkey in Forney with Corey Majors of the KNC Masterpiece for your Monday Night Football watch party. Now, we also have to crown the Meat Church Menu of the Day champion, Broaddus. Stephen Weatherford, we already told you, getting it done at a high level, had to have taken off work today to get the brisket cooked up.
He did a full pull today. If you just don't show up in a couple hours, get that one done.
And then our buddy Robert in Carrollton, he said he had to work today, so he couldn't get the smoker rolling.
Okay.
All right, so he's playing down a little bit.
So we've gone from champ to excuse making?
It sounds like he's cranking up the old excuse machine. He's still doing the bone-in New York strips, fried potatoes, and some Cajun ranch pasta. So
I might vote for that.
All right, we'll get back to that here in a moment, but right now let's go live to Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas and welcome in ESPN sideline reporter Lisa Salters here on your Cowboys pregame show. Lisa, thank you so much for giving us some time. How are you doing?
Hey guys, I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great. Excited for tonight's game. So many storylines. Can you paint the picture for us? What's the vibe out there right now?
Well, players are just starting to arrive. Both buses have started to get here, and guys are going back to their locker rooms. As you know, for the Cowboys, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of emotions out here tonight with the passing of Marshawn Kneeland. It's always difficult when you're trying to navigate through grief and get your job done at the same time. And that really is what this team is trying to do. Just talking to Brian Schottenheimer about it earlier in the week, he said that's kind of been the most difficult part for him, that there really is no playbook on how to deal with this. He's just tried to be there and for his guys as much as he can. And he said it was really hard just getting up in front of them on Thursday before the practice. That was their first practice since all of this happened. Just getting in front of them, saying like we have to move forward. We're not going to move on, but we've got a game to play on Monday night against the Raiders. We're going to play more games after that. So we've got to move forward, and that's what tonight is all about, taking that first step and moving forward. Not forgetting, as Dak Prescott has said many times, not forgetting their brother, but moving forward and trying to put their best foot forward with their play in honor of him.
Lisa, you're damn good at what you do, and I'm just curious of when you're dealing with a team that has something like this, and it doesn't always happen for you, but a team that's dealing with something of with the tragedy or something that happens within the organization, how do you prepare for that yourself as a professional broadcaster?
Just as a professional person first, we've all dealt with loss before, so you try to treat everyone as you would want to be treated, with the same amount of reverence for their loved one. Even though I didn't know Marshawn Kneeland,
right?
I can just tell by the way his teammates have talked about him, and just by seeing the pain in their faces and hearing the pain in their voices, you can tell what he meant to them. So you just try to approach it that way with respect, and just trying to meet the moment with kindness and grace.
ESPN's Lisa Salters on the sidelines for Monday Night Football tonight. Cowboys and Raiders with us here on The Fan. So what have you learned about just trying to get acclimated with all the new players on the Cowboys defense? They get the trade deadline. Here comes Quinnen Williams. They got a Logan Wilson as well. A bunch of guys coming back off of injury. DeMarvion Overshown making his debut. And just the expectations for this Cowboys defense here tonight.
I mean, this could be a completely different defense on the field tonight. I was asking Brian Schottenheimer, I was like, so what about this guy and this guy and this guy? And he's like, oh, yeah, him and him and him. And I said, so we could have at least like 6 new starters from just 2 weeks ago when we last had you on Monday Night Football. And he's like, yeah, they're still working through, who's going to be starting and who's not. But there are at least 6 players who will get significant time tonight who were not playing just 2 weeks ago. Of course, the 2 biggest that you mentioned, linebacker Logan Wilson and Quinnen Williams, they're expected to have the most immediate impact. But, Overshown as well, making his season debut, and, he'll be on a snap count. But they say he looks great. And so it really is going to be interesting to see what this Dallas defense, which has been so maligned, so far this season, that this could be a complete turnaround for them. So, I'm curious to see what kind of impact, especially Quinnen Williams, who I thought it was funny. We were asking him, how long is it going to take you to get up to speed on the playbook? Do you think that, has that been the biggest challenge? He's like, no. He's like, I came from the Jets. I had 4 different defensive coordinators in my 6.5 years there. So I'm good with defensive changes. But he said, no, he really thinks that one of his superpowers is his football IQ. And he's right. He said, I can break down defenses. I can break down film. I can learn plays quickly. He's like, I knew that, the playbook wasn't going to be an issue. And he said he's told the guys lining up around him, you guys do you, I'll adjust to you. Don't worry about adjusting to me. He says he's going to be good, and he's expecting to make an impact right away.
Lisa, from the Raiders' point of view, things not gone well for Pete Carroll, in the first season. Where do you think they are right now as a team? Kind of, do you have a little bit of a gauge of where they are emotionally or going into this game?
Well, I think, if you're a Pete Carroll coach team, you're always going to be positive. I mean, sure. Pete Carroll is one of the most positive coaches I've ever seen. So, even just in talking to him in our production meeting this past weekend, just his enthusiasm, his energy, you might think there'd be some kind of, we're not playing well, the season is, taking forever, the guys aren't doing what I want. No, he's like, guys are playing their butts off. Mm-hmm. He's proud of his team. He's proud of their effort. He's like, we played in a couple close games where games that we should have won. We played against teams that have a lot of wins. So this may not be the year for the Oakland Raiders, or excuse me, this may not be the year. You can tell how old I am, right? Yeah, this may not be the years for the Las Vegas Raiders, but Pete Carroll is going to get the best out of his team, and again, this might not be their year. But you wouldn't know it by the effort that they give and by the amount of passion that Pete Carroll still has week in, week out.
Lisa, how much of the broadcast will be talking about the storyline, just Schottenheimer and Carroll and their history together now clashing head-to-head as head coaches?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a huge storyline, the coaches, because the coaches don't play any downs. But just listening to both guys talk about the other, you hear the mutual respect for Brian Schottenheimer, just hearing him talk about the impact that Pete Carroll has had on his coaching career. He said, obviously his dad was a big influence, but he said, I'm more like Pete Carroll when it comes to actually as a coach and my vibe. He's like, Pete Carroll allows music, and my dad would never have allowed music on the sidelines. He's like, so, as far as his coaching style, he said, I'm more like Pete Carroll than anybody else. And that's kind of cool to see when a guy's coaching tree kind of comes back full circle and coaches get to go up against their former mentees. That's pretty cool to see.
Well, Lisa, this has been a real treat for us. Thank you so much for giving us some time, and enjoy the game tonight.
Thank you, guys.
There she goes, ESPN sideline reporter Lisa Salters with us here on The Fan. And now it is time. I'm very excited for this. This is how you know you got a 3-time Hall of Famer moseying through the locker room, and he understands what it is. Chris Arnold hosting the player profile once again, and the man making his season debut, DeMarvion Overshown, is a part of the conversation today. Take it away, CA.
DeMarvion Overshown, how you doing, man? I'm doing great. As well as can be expected. You were talking about how you wanted to say something about Marshawn before you get started.
Yes, sir. First I want to say this about Marshawn. Marshawn was a light. Marshawn, he was a guaranteed smile that you was going to get every day. No matter how your day was going, you was expecting a smile from 94. It's tough on us. It's hard, and I know a couple players and coaches have mentioned it about, there's something that we just can't move on with. It'll never be easier. It's something that, the sadness overcomes you, at different points, and you got to deal with it. But we know Marshawn Nealon, the Marshawn we know, will want us to move forward and continue to carry his legacy. And we will do that. And we will do that by running, by hitting, and by smiling while doing it. And
playing his way.
Playing his way, and the Marshawn Nealon way. And like I said, for a guy that now we know he was dealing with so much, to come in and be such a positive joy and influence in the locker room, it shocks you, and it leaves you asking questions on what I could have done, and where was I at that I could have made a difference. But seeing, how much he was loved and how people have expressed, their joy and the joy that he brought to them, eased and calmed my mind a little bit, knowing like before he left here, he knew he was loved. So his legacy will forever live on. We will never forget. It will never get easier. But when we out there, we will be doing it for him.
You mentioned that it was kind of therapeutic for all you guys to get back together again. Can you talk about how that has been able to help you guys get through this?
Yes, sir. And I expressed this to my teammates, just about being around them helping me. I've dealt with the grief in different stages where I was in my truck alone crying, or it's hard to spit out the right words talking to my fiance about it. So I found myself just kind of just closing myself out. But being here with the guys and my brothers, the ones that I grind with every day, that understands the impact that Marshawn had and understands what we go through on a daily basis. It felt comforting. It felt like home, just being around them, and it, like you said, it felt therapeutic just to run around and know that what we're doing right now is an honor of Marshawn, rather than just sitting there and scrolling and just asking what could we do. We know what we can do, and that's to move forward with what Marshawn wanted, and that's to play hard, and that's to win games.
And it starts with tonight. You got the tonight you got the Raiders.
Yes, sir.
And with that being said, you were saying also you feel like a Power Ranger, something you kind of amp up before the game. Can you break down how you feel before going into a game? Because this is the first one you've played in since your injury.
Yes, sir. No, that's exactly what you said. I feel like I'm powering up before a game, and a lot of that just comes from over preparing myself. I'm a guy that plays with confidence. Mm-hmm. That's one reason why I'm able to play so fast, because I'm confident in everything I do. So being overly prepared, knowing that I waited for a long time for this. It's a blessing just to be able to jog out that tunnel again. So I'm not going to take it for granted. But, prime time, first game back, I feel like the moment set up for me. The moment set up for me, and I'm not going to take it for granted. I'm playing with, it's more internal motivation now, but it's going to be exciting watching me on film afterwards, just flying around.
And what about the new guys? You feel like they're up to speed with you guys? Yeah, because I know they're trying to learn with your defense, and you're trying probably on a pitch count. Can you tell us about Quentin Williams and the linebacker?
Oh, yeah. Q, Logan, man,
both of
those guys just being able to step right in, and I feel like the coach has been good with them too, keeping it very simple for us, so we can play fast, and that's what defense is all about. You mean playing free, playing fast, everybody getting to the ball, and those two are the best. Those two are the best to do it. So it ain't been much on them to learn the scheme. Half, 80. Matter if I ain't gonna say half, 80% of defense is you playing with your heart and passion for the game. So you tie a little scheme into that. Now we cooking with grease. So I just knowing what these guys done all across the league, I'm excited for it. It's only up for our defense.
All right, good luck tonight. Take care of yourself.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, there he is, fan favorite, making his season debut tonight, DeMarvion Overshown of the Dallas Cowboys. Thank you, CA, for today's player profile as well. And just, I mean, my gosh, as likable as it gets on and off the field, DeMarvion Overshown. Cannot wait to watch him tonight. Just so glad that he's back. So happy for him, the way he attacked the rehab, everything he's gone through, and then just how thoughtful he is when it comes to Marshawn Neal, and just an all-around A-plus human being.
If there's anything you can ask the football gods for, is give that guy some good health. Because his early part of his career is he's had to deal with all the adversity of being injured, and it'd be nice for him to have several years here where he can just line up and play every week and show you what an outstanding football player he is. Because man, he has battled, talking to people in the organization. I've known Britt Brown for a long time, about 15 years, the trainer there with the Cowboys. And, he is very much a guy that will push the players. But he says this kid took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
When it comes to, he never missed a day, never missed an opportunity, was there every step of the way. And if you're going to rehab, Britt says, hey, he did it the absolute right way and even beyond that. So I'd hope the football gods will give him several years of pain-free and injury-free football for him to be able to show what an outstanding player he really, really is.
Yeah, and there's a great article Todd Archer did about DeMarvion Overshown and just his entire recovery process, and it is very, very much so worth your time. ESPN.com, Todd Archer with an Overshown article that is just fantastic. All right, whether you're a backyard griller, Cowboys tailgater, or a pitmaster pro, Meat Church has everything you need. Visit meatchurch.com, your ultimate destination for the finest rubs, seasonings, and barbecue supplies. Matt Pittman and Meat Church, the official pitmaster of the Dallas Cowboys. You going with Stephen Weatherford or Robert in Carrollton for the Meat Church menu of the day? I'm giving it to Steve because he went all out. He went absolutely all out, and everything is just Meat Church when it comes to the way that he put it together.
I'll tell you what, though, if Robert's going with the steaks,
steak and Cajun pasta, and fried potatoes
on a Monday night, I'm voting for that one. Okay,
tie goes to Peyton Russell. Peyton Russell, who are you going with? Robert in Carrollton, or are you going with Stephen Weatherford? What's the move here? Going with number 2. He's going with Steve in Weatherford. Congratulations, Steve. You are the Meat Church menu of the day champion. All right, let's see here. 2 hours, 18 minutes to Monday Night Football kickoff. Cowboys in Vegas to take on the Raiders. Let's go live to Vegas, inside the Star with our Cowboys insider, Bobby Belt. That's next right here on The Fan.
Tom Thumb's new Drive Up and Go service makes grocery shopping easy.
El Nunnally. Behind every great company. Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side. Volleman's Dairy, the official milk of the Dallas Cowboys. Tyson Foods. Get your Tyson Cowboys Star Nuggets available now. And by DallasCowboys.com. Keep track of the boys with daily podcasts and up-to-the-minute blogging at DallasCowboys.com and on the official Dallas Cowboys app.
2 hours and 12 minutes to kick off Monday Night Football. Cowboys and Raiders. Let's go live to Vegas inside the Star with our Cowboys insider, Bobby Roberto Belt, who was playing with a lot of Cowboy confidence today. If you heard him this morning eating what seemed like a 5-star breakfast
in his underwear,
live from the hotel room in his whitey tighties, Bobby was putting in the call. Cowboys get it done in a big way tonight. I like the sound of that. Bob, how you doing?
I'm great. They were not whitey-tighties, though. Let's get that right. They were black boxer briefs.
How old are you when you gave up on the whitey-tighties? Because I know Broaddus just recently went back to those. He said for comfort levels.
8 years old, probably, something like that.
Okay.
Bobby and I used to have a really good thing with Chill Boys. Till like
I still have those.
Bobby screwed that up, and then we can't do that anymore.
I did.
I'm just kidding you, Bob. Hey, Bob, seriously, though, is this the most challenged, or I'm trying to not say the worst, offensive line the Cowboys have placed this year?
You can say it. It's the worst. This is a bad offensive line.
I don't want to.
I know. I totally get it. Now, Lincoln Kennedy, who was a damn good offensive lineman himself
really good.
Back in the day. Lincoln Kennedy, who now works analyzing the Raiders, he said that this offensive line's terrible. So we don't have to say because Lincoln Kennedy has said it for us. But yeah, this is not a good group, and it hopefully presents an opportunity, particularly with. On the interior, I feel like they really struggle, and so this could be a really good opportunity right out of the gate for Quinnen Williams.
Yeah, that's the guy that I'm really excited about. I just think he can help really everybody on that defensive line. Bobby, my pick for breakout player of the second half of the season was Osa, just because I think Osa is going to benefit a ton from having Quinnen Williams in the middle of that defensive line.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you want to talk about the stat that was out there from Next Gen Stats. Since 2002, the two players with the most pressures when facing double teams are Quinnen Williams and Osa Odigizua. So when those two are on the field, they should be able to clear things up for each other and continue to generate more pressure.
Who worries you more tonight, Bob? Is it Brock Bowers or is it Max Crosby?
Look, I mean, I think that you can do things to hopefully neutralize Max Crosby a little bit, just because you can really kind of central your focus on him and try to take him out a little bit. I think I don't know that you can just as easily take away Bowers, because I mean I think that especially given the way that they kind of the zone coverage schemes that they run and do different things like that, he's probably going to get opportunities and he's going to find a way to take advantage of things. But I mean I think Max Crosby, those are two obviously really, really good players, two of their three best, depending on where you want to put Colton Miller in there probably. But it's going to be a challenge to slow both those guys down. I think they can do more directly to try to slow down Max Crosby, though.
Bobby, one of my favorite players in the draft was Ashton Genty, and I know he gets hit at or behind the line of scrimmage quite a bit, though. Do you kind of feel like, though, that Dallas will be able to do what others have been able to do, and that's, play on the other side? We've talked about the offensive line, but will they be able to play? I feel like they're better with their playing run defense now when you start to talk about with Clowney and then Ezeraku as the edges.
I don't ever assume that the Cowboys will be able to do anything defensively that other teams have been able to do, but I totally get you. Get you. No, I think that if you're telling me that I can get Osa Odigizua, or just some of the edges are Jadeveon Clowney and Donovan Ezeraku, and the defensive tackles are Quinnen Williams and some combo of Osa and Kenny Clark, I feel like that should be a front four that has an advantage in the run game over most offensive lines every week. So an offensive line that's not playing very well, I would hope that they would be able to take advantage of that. The only question would be that second level. The second level has been such a problem for the Cowboys at times this year. And so, Logan Wilson working DeMar Van Overshown back. the reps you still continue to get from Kenneth Murray and other guys in the linebacker group, it's more to be like, okay, are you guys making the right run fits? Or are you stepping into the right gap and making plays? And that'll ultimately determine how difficult it'll be to slow Ashton Jeanty down.
Bobby, there's nobody in the league that plays their base coverages or their base defense more than these guys. Is that an advantage for Schottenheimer here trying to attack the Raiders defense?
There's always a little bit of, we talked about this somewhat during the Washington game when Dan Quinn was coming into town. And, everybody always talks about it. Myself, you, Eric, we all talk about it when we're analyzing the game in the same terms of like, well, look, you've got an advantage here. You're so familiar with them and you know what they like to do. And we had talked to Shotty about this with Quinn, and it's like, isn't that sometimes going to work against you, though? Because you have a feeling like you know them so well that maybe you start overthinking and trying to analyze every decision and predict every little thing that they do, and you kind of get bogged down in the details a little bit. So I think that Shotty will know how to attack the defense that Pete Carroll puts out there, just like I think Shotty knows how to attack most defenses that are lined up across from them. And certainly if you've got somebody in base defense as frequently as the Raiders are in there, that hopefully gives you some matchup advantages that you can try to exploit. And I'm certain that's one of the big things that they've game planned for this week. On the opposite end, though, Flus has gone with less zone coverage, fourth fewest in the last, 3 weeks when it comes to the amount of zone he's played. Are we seeing something different there? Is he just trying to be different because some of the things earlier that he did or called just didn't work? It's very, and you know this, Brian, you got to be careful when you look at the raw numbers sometimes.
Sure.
So Denver, when Denver got up big on them, that's when they played all their man coverage, was when they were down by 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. So every single rep they were out there, they were in man.
Yeah.
So when you looked at that, I think through the first 3 quarters when the game was still within reason, I think Flus ran man 3 times. And then by the end of the game, it was like 17.
Yeah.
And so it does kind of change the numbers a little bit. I'm trying to remember. I think Arizona, that game played similarly. Like later in the game, they were playing a lot more man coverage. So I don't know how much of it is a shift in philosophy versus just, circumstance and how they played things. But I definitely think part of this bye week evaluation that they had where they were trying to figure out different things, I absolutely think that they are, one of the things they've addressed is, are we blitzing enough and are we playing enough man coverage? I think that's been part of their conversations.
It's our Cowboys insider, Bobby Belt, live from Vegas with us here on The Fan. How much Logan Wilson can we expect to see tonight?
I think we'll see a fair amount of him. Look, I mean, to me, I look at it as when you've got somebody like Logan Wilson who plays with, when you watch the tape, is he as good as he was 2-3 years ago? No. But I do think it's been overblown how much the fall off has been. I think when you watch him, he is such an instinctive, natural player at the linebacker position that to me you'll deal with whatever learning curve there is in the scheme, and he's here to play football for you. And he's here to use his instincts and use his football IQ to his advantage. And I think that's how the Cowboys are going to approach it. So I would expect that we see a fair amount of him.
I was going to ask you about Carson because I kind of feel like they need to do something different at corner. And he showed enough just watching the tape against Arizona that I kind of want to throw him out there again, see what we got.
Yeah, I mean, Carson was a guy who obviously it was a different coaching staff, but this was there was a coaching staff that was very high on him last August going into training camp. There were people who thought that Carson was a steal for them in the 5th round. He had a bit of a tough year, obviously, last year, and he had been rehabbing from that injury. And again, it's a new group of coaches that are going to view him differently, and so you don't know necessarily if they have the same sort of belief in him, but I'm with you. I think given what you've seen from the cornerback group, he absolutely should be in contention for fighting for more opportunity and more reps at corner.
All right, Bob, you're the man. We appreciate the time and enjoy the game.
I love you all.
Love you more. There he goes. Cowboys insider Bobby Belt with us here on the official pregame show of America's Team, brought to you by Reliant. Reliant is proud to power the home of the Dallas Cowboys and the homes of Cowboys fans across Texas. Reliant, the official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys. All right, we are sitting here just over 2 hours to kick off Cowboys and Raiders. Let's keep it there live in Vegas, Allegiant Stadium, and have a football conversation with our buddy Babe Laufenberg next right here on The Fan.
Veritiv Pollock is more than just a supplier. We're your strategic ally in facility.
alongside the Super Bowl champion Bryan Broaddus, and the Cowboys are in Vegas to take on the Raiders. And let's go live to Allegiant Stadium there in Vegas and welcome in our buddy Babe Laufenberg. Babe, how we doing?
Doing well, thank you. And I am in Las Vegas, Eric and Brian, just so you know, because my sister texted me this morning and said, hey, are you going to stick around after the game? So I have family in Los Angeles. And I said, no, I'm not going to stick around. And you do know the Raiders are now in Las Vegas, which she did not. So it just shows.
Yeah, was she asking how Marcus Allen was going to play tonight?
Right. So if you wonder why, when the games are played at SoFi, the visiting team has more fans than the home team, be it the Chargers or the Rams, it's because of people like my sister that don't even know that the Raiders do not play in Los Angeles and haven't for about 10 years.
Do you guys have a fine bucket for slipping up on the Oakland tonight?
Trust me, the Raiders are different for me because, like the Chargers, I literally, when we've done Chargers games, I have put a index card in front of me as I'm looking at the field that says Los Angeles Chargers, just as a reminder, because, you think San Diego. But the Raiders, they're in Oakland, right? Then they moved to Los Angeles. Then they moved back to Oakland. And now they're in Las Vegas, so they're a little bit of a wild card.
You think at 2-7, the Oakland fans are kind of glad they're gone?
Gosh. No, as you know, Brian, those fans were pretty rabid up there. I'm sure they miss their Raiders.
Yeah, they miss them for sure.
But I guess, let me just say this. I guess it softens the blow a little bit. You'd hate to be in Oakland and they go to Las Vegas and they go win a Super Bowl and you're not part of that. But, 2-7 probably softens the blow.
Yeah, still same old Raiders at this point. Babe Laufenberg with us here on The Fan. Okay, so, obviously going to be an emotional night here, been an emotional couple of weeks here when it comes to the Cowboys and the tragedy involving Marshawn Nealon. How do you expect that to play into tonight's game, if at all?
Well, it's interesting because I did my little hit on Friday, with the morning guys, and I said, there's two stories that have been written, right? And it's just a question of which button we're going to hit send on. The one is going to be, it was a tough week. They've been distracted. They're emotionally spent just getting through all the emotions of losing a teammate. And the other is we're going to go out and win it for Marshawn Nealon, right? And I don't know which button is going to hit the send on, but one of those two things is going to happen tonight. And I wish I knew the answer. What was interesting, I was flying a week ago, and I was watching the game tape, the All-22 of the Cowboys game against Arizona, looking at the defense, and it was just so weird, surreal almost. I'm seeing 94 as I'm watching this tape, and I'm knowing he's not here. He's gone from this earth, and I can only imagine what these guys are going through. And the one big difference, too, I think, when you're part of a football team like this, and Brian knows it, and you do everything together. You're in meetings together. You eat together. You shower together, for God's sake. It's not a job. We don't work remotely. They don't work remotely, right? They don't go into the office, say good morning, and then everybody goes to their cubicle. You're around each other, virtually all day. So the emotions of it, we'll just see how it plays out tonight. But yeah, no question, it's been a very difficult 10 days for this football team.
I'm going to give you the task, Babe, of trying to stop their tight end or stop their edge rusher. Which one do you feel you're maybe a little bit better equipped to maybe handle?
I don't know if I'm better equipped to handle Max Crosby, but that's the guy, their defensive end, of course, Max Crosby. That's the guy I want to stop. He can wreck the game. Brock Bowers, I love. I think anybody who watches football loves him. But he probably isn't going to wreck the game for you. But the other guy, he will wreck the game. Max Crosby will wreck the game. So they're going to pay some special attention to him. And obviously they're strong where the Cowboys are weak. I don't care which side. Usually Max Crosby lines up on that left defensive end side. But wherever he goes against whichever offensive tackle, it's a mismatch.
Babe, I've kind of just wondered, against Arizona, you saw the quick pressures, you saw Dak with the problems, with some of the sacks, and the offense just didn't look as, clean as it needed to be. Has Dak Prescott been kind of masking some of the issues that maybe the offensive line has had with some pressures, with his ability to move around a little bit?
Yeah. And I said this while it was going on, and the Cowboys were like one of the least sacked teams in the league, and it was a product of Dak getting rid of the football quickly. Yeah. Not so much that the offensive line was playing great, it was just by the time they got there, the ball was gone, and that wasn't the case last week. It wasn't the case in Denver.
Right.
Now that Denver defense is the real deal. Anybody that's watched them, I mean, they may set an NFL record, honestly, for sacks this year. They are just, they led the league in sacks last year, so they're going to pressure you. Arizona should not have been able to put the kind of pressure on Dak that they did, and we'll see how they handle this Raiders team tonight.
Babe, I know that Williams offensively likes to run the ball inside. Dallas, that's kind of their way of making things happen. But the Raiders played pretty decent. If you look at the metrics, and the eye test will tell you that they give up about a little less than 4 yards a carry, about 3.7. Yeah. When you got a team that, like, this is what we do, and they're going, well, this is what we do, how do you go into a game plan kind of figuring out what we need to do?
Yeah, and it's interesting because, we tend to, as fans or whatnot, oh, this team sucks or that team sucks. Right. And you kind of want to say, well, their offense sucks, right? But their defense is pretty good, or vice versa. But to your point, the Raiders play some pretty good defense, and the old Pete Carroll, won't get into all the technicalities of it, but they keep kind of everything in front of them. They've given up the second fewest 20-yard plays in the NFL. Mm-hmm. As you talked about Max Crosby, they can certainly rush the passer with him, and they got a couple other guys there that are pretty good. So their defense is not bad. The offense has been bad.
Yes.
Ashton Genty, I mean, he's going to be a really good back. He is a really good back, but he's averaging 3.8 a carry because they just cannot open holes. They lost their left tackle. Their only really, really good player on that offensive line, Colton Miller. They lost him in week 4. He's on IR. So they have difficulty running the ball. I tell you one guy that impressed me. Interested to hear your guys' thoughts on him if you happen to look. I know, Brian, you did, but Trey Tucker, their wide receiver.
Yeah, that's the vertical. Yeah.
Oh, man.
The Commanders game, they launched one on the Commanders game, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see him. They run more crossing routes than anybody in the league. So you're going to see that, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Tucker go vertical in this game and see if they can try and get you on one of those. They sure got the Commanders on one late in the game.
And let me tell you, I know they only scored 7 points against Denver, but he was behind the defense 3 different times, and I mean 2 steps on him, where Geno Smith just didn't have time to get him the ball.
Right.
But I just, nobody knows who he is, and that's okay. Trey Tucker, number one, he's a really good route runner, and I'll be honest, I haven't studied him before. I looked at him this week, and I'm like, wow, this is a guy I'd be a little concerned about. And I know they aren't. They're going to try to make. You got to make sure you're not sitting on routes, because if you sit there at 10 yards and say, I'm going to jump this out route or this in cut, he's going to run right by you.
It's Babe Laufenberg with us here on The Fan. Babe, how'd you like the move for Quinnen Williams, and what do you think about him and just all the additions to the defense now moving forward?
Yeah, no question. They got a lot better over the bye week. They didn't have Quinnen Williams. In the last game, there was no Quinnen Williams. There was no Overshown, right? There was no Logan Wilson, who's a linebacker that they obviously picked up from Cincinnati. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys, and again, I've been saying it, all week long. Overshown tonight is not going to be the Overshown that left the game against Cincinnati in December last year. I mean, he hasn't played football for a year. He's coming off a very serious injury. He obviously will be on a pitch count, but I mean, just don't expect to see the same guy that left the field again against Cincinnati last year.
Yeah,
at least not for a little while.
Sure. It'll be nice to see him out there, and I do think he brings just an energy to the defense. I mean, I think Broaddus said that he was kind of like the Dak of the defense, just sort of the heartbeat there. And so that'll be nice to see.
His teammates are going to love to see him out there. I mean, when he goes out there, that's an emotional lift right off the bat for anybody that was on this team or around this team last year.
Do you think this defense can get to sort of a competent level moving forward here the rest of the way?
I just love that. We're not asking for greatness.
No, we're
just
not.
asking for competence.
Yeah.
I think they can. I look at Matt Eberflus, and he knows what he's doing. I mean, I know there's a lot of backlash, fan backlash, but I'll give you a quick. Lou Amorano, right? He was in Cincinnati last year as a D coordinator. He got fired. He's in Indianapolis last year. Now he's the savior up there, and they're talking about him being a head coach. Al Golden, who was a savior at Notre Dame as a defensive coordinator, he goes to Cincinnati, and guess what? Cincinnati's terrible on defense. So sometimes it's the players, and I think that was the case here. You know, with the Cowboys, they just weren't very good. They just weren't. They didn't have talent on defense, and hopefully that changes a little bit tonight. And it obviously will with Quinnen Williams and Overshown and these kind of guys coming in. These aren't just stopgap guys. These are guys that can be difference makers.
Absolutely. Babe Laufenberg with us here on The Fan. Okay, what do you think is the main reason why the Cowboys offense has started to struggle a little bit? Denver, Arizona now back-to-back weeks, and we thought a lot of it was the home road stuff where they're just kind of a different team when they go on the road. But you were back at home, Arizona, and the offense just not looking right. What do you attribute that to?
I just look at the offensive line, honestly. Just way too much pressure on Dak Prescott in these last two games. I don't know. I don't know if you guys, and I apologize. You know, we're on the bus coming over, so I don't get to hear the whole start of this pregame show. But if you watched Jared Goff last night, I mean, he looked terrible. But he looked terrible because there was an eagle in his face in that game, knocking him around on virtually every play. So I don't care who you are. I don't care how good a quarterback you are. If there's pressure on you, it's just not going to be as good. And again, the last 2 weeks, the pressure on Dak has been, I'd like to use the word unacceptable, but certainly unacceptable if you want to be a good offense.
No doubt about it. Now we were kicking this.
I got to say, Babe, nice job of fighting through Raider might in the background there. I would have stopped down and maybe and kind of. And taking a moment.
Soaked it in.
Are we doing something with the owl eternal flame? What are we doing over there?
I loved it. No, but hey, and then just quickly too, we talking about two sides of the ball.
Sure.
The Raiders offense, they played 9 games. They're 2-7. So is the defense, I guess, too. They're 2-7 as well. But they played 9 games. They haven't scored 30 points in any of them. The Cowboys were averaging 30. They've had 4 of their 9 games where they have not scored in double digits. So it's one of those games to me, if you don't do anything stupid, take care of the ball, you should beat this Raiders team just by virtue of the fact that the Raiders have difficulty scoring.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that. Babe Laufenberg with us here on The Fan. We were kicking this around a little bit earlier. Breakout player. Do you have a selection for who the Cowboys breakout player could be for the remainder of the season? I think Broaddus went with Kalen Carson, which I thought was like a hipster's sort of Cowboys pull right there.
I'm a hipster Cowboy guy.
Really impressive pull. And I threw out Osa just because the Quinnen Williams edition I think will free him up a little bit more. And he's been seeing so many double teams this year now that Micah's been gone. But anybody that come to mind for you that you think in the second half might be really popping?
Can I pick an all-pro? Quinnen Williams? I mean, am I allowed?
Sure.
Can I go obvious, I would love to go give you a guy that nobody thought of, but I remember
pick
the one
CeeDee
year.
Lamb if I were you there. I mean, that Pickens out playing him right now, but
Yeah, that's the amazing thing, too. The offense was humming along when they were missing all their linemen and CeeDee Lamb. And then they got everybody back, and then they've gone into a stalemate. Speaking of Osa also, very quickly, so the Cowboys, they have 3 defensive tackles now making $20 million a year, $20 million plus, right? There's only 16 of those guys in the NFL making $20 million at defensive tackle. Cowboys have 3 of those 16. The Patriots are the only team that has more than 1. They have 2. The difference is the Patriots, at least coming into these games, all the statistics are going to be reshuffled after the weekend. The Patriots are the best run defense in the NFL. They're getting a bang for the buck. Cowboys, obviously Quinnen Williams just got here, but they had 2 defensive tackles making $20 million plus, and the run defense has been terrible. So they got to start earning their money.
Couldn't agree more, babe. By the way, did you have a nice little, did you get away for the bye week? Do anything, do a little travel action?
Actually, I went to University of Texas El Paso game. Unfortunately, they lost on a last-second field goal, 30-27. But met my son Joe Willie, who lives in Denver, and we went to the game, and we had a nice time. It just didn't end the way we wanted it to.
I hear you. We know that plenty well.
Yeah, no kidding.
We are getting a lot of texts right now, babe, asking for a Cowboys Raiders trivia question. I don't know if you carry around trivia questions in your pocket, but
I don't have them in my pocket, but I got them in my little pea brain.
Oh, all right, hit us with it. Let's see what we got here.
Okay.
Football guy of the day's on the line, Broaddus.
Okay, so Brock Bowers, caught 112 passes last year, but he also caught 1,196 yards worth of balls, Went for 1,100 and change. That is the new rookie record for yardage by a tight end. Who held the record? Whose record did he break?
Wow.
So would it be a rookie tight end or a
rookie tight end. So he set the rookie tight end for yards in a season.
Wow. Okay. Whose record? Whose record did he break? Gosh, I'm trying to think.
He's probably it's probably Dave Casper, somebody like that from the Raiders.
Is it
Brian,
super throwback?
You got to go back. You got to go back further than Dave Casper.
Go back further than Dave Casper. Is it somebody from the AFL?
No.
John Mackey.
That's a good guess.
That's a good guess.
That's about the time frame. Iron Mike Ditka.
Oh, Iron Mike out of Pittsburgh.
Mike Ditka set the record in 1961. That record stood for, God, do the math, 60 some odd years.
Yeah.
And that was a 14-game season.
Wow.
And I didn't even look it up because if your name is Iron Mike, you know you didn't miss a game. So I didn't look and see, God, was he out 2 games with injuries? Mike Ditka could have had a broken leg, and he would have played all 14 games.
All-time tough
But there
guy.
you go. How's that?
That's a
You like that
beautiful.
one?
That's fantastic.
Ask Brad
babe.
if Billy Wade was throwing him the ball. Who was the?
Okay.
Yeah.
Brad is sitting next to me. I said, Mike Ditka was the answer to a
61.
trivia question. Was Billy Wade throwing him the ball? Was he? Oh, he's looking. No, it's okay. Oh, he said. Brad said some of the time.
Okay.
Some of the time.
So it was Billy Wade. I mean, I didn't want to say Jack Kincannon because that's after that. I think
that's funny.
Yeah.
And not Bobby Douglas.
Yeah. No, Bobby Douglas. He didn't have a chin strap in his helmet. Him and Billy Kilmer. No chin straps.
I love it.
Yeah.
Babe, you are the man. Thank you for that trivia question. Thank you for the football gold. We appreciate it, and enjoy the game. We'll be listening.
Okay, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. There he goes, Babe Laufenberg with us here on The Fan, and the pregame show brought to you by United Healthcare. United Healthcare is the proud official healthcare partner of the Dallas Cowboys, bringing you coverage you can count on to Cowboys territory. Learn more at uhc.com. Wow, Mike Ditka.
Yeah.
Wow, they were airing it out back in the 60s like that?
Oh yeah. I mean, they were he was really good. I mean, of course he was good, but yeah, they were out of Pittsburgh. He was when he came out of college, he was good. That's what I was asking, like Billy Wade. Like the Bears don't have a great history of quarterback play, so it was like the guys like that. Well, you have to go back to Sid Luckman. Those were like the best of the best. And then our guy Jim McMahon, he won the Super Bowl. But yeah, they've had some guys. Bob Avellini.
What about Bob Dabellini?
Not Bob Dabellini. We had Bob Avellini.
Okay.
He came one time to Texas Stadium, got sacked a ton in a game. Bears weren't very good for a while there. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, you can hang out with Corey Majors for the watch party tonight in Forney at the Bearded Monkey. Kickoff's at 7:15, so he'll have all sorts of Tolo giveaways and things like that. Corey Majors of the KNC Masterpiece with a Monday Night Football watch party in Forney at the Bearded Monkey. All right, let's see here. We are now 1 hour and 39 minutes to kick off Cowboys and Raiders. We'll go back to Vegas, Allegiant Stadium, and welcome in the best of the business, Christy Scales, Cowboys sideline reporter, next right here on The Fan.
How's it going? You see that Cowboys game?
Oh, I watched. Been seeing some good things.
Dairy, the official milk of the Dallas Cowboys. Arrow Exterminators, official pest control provider of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. And by DallasCowboys.com. Keep track of the boys with daily podcasts and up-to-the-minute blogging at DallasCowboys.com and on the official Dallas Cowboys app.
All right, here we go. Just over 90 minutes to kick off Monday Night Football. Welcome to the official pregame show of America's team, Cowboys and Raiders. I'm Eric Chiofalo alongside the Super Bowl champion, Bryan Broaddus. Let's go live to Vegas and welcome in the best in the business, Cowboys sideline reporter Christy Scales, so we can get the pregame scoop here. Christy, how we doing?
We're doing great, and there is a lot of Cowboys blue mixed in here with this Raider black here at Allegiant Stadium. I think and just walking around the strip just for reconnaissance, just for purposes of research for tonight's pregame show, I can tell you there's a lot of Cowboys Nation in Vegas this week.
What was the best show you saw last night, Christy?
The best one last night would have been the Cirque du Soleil Michael Jackson,
There
but
you go.
went to see O on Friday. And by the way, that Hall of Excellence that Tom Brady co-founded, it's at the Fontainebleau.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my gosh. It is fantastic. All 7 of his rings, all 7 Super Bowl rings. But if you're a sports fan, whether it's Rocky Marciano's boxing trunks or the bat that Babe Ruth used when he called the shot, right?
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So highly recommended.
I love it. All right, so what do we have in store for tonight? I mean, what type of pregame festivities and certainly honoring Marshawn Nealon tonight? What's going to be going down at Allegiant Stadium?
Yeah, well, we're in the early portion of pregame, so all of the Cowboys players and coaches are wearing the blue T-shirts that have Marshawn's image. It's the same one that you saw posted, with that they used at the vigil, that they used, they showed in the plaza, Tostitos Plaza. So it's the picture of him, and then there'll be a decal on the back of the helmet. It's a very simple decal. It's dark blue and white numerals 94, which of course is his jersey number. Really cool. Aaron White-Cotton, who is the Cowboys defensive line coach and got to be so close with Marshawn since Aaron joined the staff back in February. When the second bus arrived with coaches and the majority of the players, Aaron was wearing one of Marshawn's jerseys, which I thought was very cool. And I'd also like to compliment the Raiders for what they're doing tonight to honor Marshawn and to bring awareness to the suicide hotline. So they're wearing black shirts, and on the back, just in big numerals, 988, and then the word suicide hotline underneath there. So anybody who needs any help, that is 24/7 to call the suicide hotline. And then on the front of their shirts, again, it's a black shirt, and then in white letters it says call an audible. So I thought that was very classy of the Raiders to do that as part of their pregame.
Christy, thank you for filling us in on all that stuff. Okay, as we focus then on the game, there's a lot of questions about with Overshone and then Revel, how much would they play this week, or do you have a kind of an idea of the pitch count for those guys?
Yeah, with Overshone, about 30 or so plays, and so, but instead of a hard number, he's going to be used in a lot of different situations. So he may not come out there at the start of a series, that puts towards his total of the up to 30 plays, maybe a little more, but look for him to get a lot of work on third down. And then with Revel, the count may be a little bit less than 30, but that would be more like series coming in. But he may get some situational work as well in terms of some of the longer downs and distances as well. So definitely counts for them. But Malik Hooker, of course, who was just activated off the designated to return off the injured list with a toe injury. Of course, he's missed several weeks. Malik Hooker is not on a hard pitch count, but being the veteran that he is, obviously the coaching staff and the athletic training staff will, let him, he'll know, right? They're counting on him letting them know if he needs to take any kind of break.
Okay, very good. Christy Scales with us here on The Fan. And how are they going to approach things with Logan Wilson making his Cowboys debut tonight?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because Kenneth Murray is going to start the game at middle linebacker, and he'll have a green dot helmet, but so will Logan Wilson. And guys, it's my understanding that it'll probably be series by series. So look for Logan Wilson to be out there in the second series. So it maybe, kind of, does that remind you, Brian, I don't want to date us, but the old Craig Morton.
Yeah, and, every other play against the Chicago Bears?
Yes, not every other play between Staubach and Morton, but literally series to series. Now, if one series is a 3 and out and another series, heaven forbid that they allow like a 14 or 16 play drive, that could change. But I'm told look for Murray to go ahead and get the start, but Wilson will likely be in by the second series. And the one thing about Logan Wilson is, I had a nice conversation with Dave Borgonzi, who's the linebackers coach. And so when Wilson came over, the trade was completed early in the bye week, right? And Logan Wilson was in like that morning. I mean, he was here right away. And it's not so much a big change in the scheme between what he did with the Bengals and here with the Cowboys, but the big change is terminology, the verbiage. And so when you're the green dot and you're the one that's having to make all of the defensive calls, it's so important. And so what Borgonzi spent most of the time with on Wilson is working on that terminology, that verbiage. I think that fans, when we think about that, you think about, when a quarterback changes teams games, and they talk about having to learn a new language. Well, it's the same thing when you're a middle linebacker making the calls. Obviously a bright guy and, got a little bit of a head start on it with the bye week, but worked very hard on that. The other thing I want to point out about when you have that green dot on your helmet, for the defensive players, it's the same as it is for the quarterbacks, and that is when the defensive coordinator can talk into that radio helmet to the 15-second mark on the play clock. It's the same as what an offensive coordinator does calling in a play to the quarterback. So Matt Eberflus, when he's calling in those plays, if he knows that the terminology is very, very different than what Wilson was used to with the Bengals, then he can give reminders, and that's one of the benefits of being a green dot.
Well, it's fascinating too. And I was thinking of Aaron Whitecotton with Quinnen Williams, because he could explain, hey, remember when we were the Jets? This was what the call was. He can kind of maybe give a little bit of an understanding what Quinnen knows and what he doesn't know.
Yeah, it's like having a shorthand, isn't it? Like when you're with your family or with your buddies from high school or college, you have that shorthand.
A lot different. And before we let you get out of here, Christy, what about the right tackle stuff? Because we kind of saw, and we've heard during the week there was big competition. Do you have any idea how the right tackle is going to play out this game?
Yeah, there is not a set number or a set of snaps, nor a set series that they are looking to put Nate Thomas in. Okay, so if you see him come in, it may mean that they may not like all that they're seeing from Steele.
Okay.
So let me put it that way: if Steele is having a great game, you might get a few from Thomas, but maybe not any snaps. So it's kind of see how it goes at that position.
And Christy, is there any inactives that we should know about?
Yeah, I don't have them officially yet. Let's see, checking here on the deal, but I know that obviously Solomon Thomas with a calf injury not playing. Jaden Blue, the running back, Damone Clark is inactive, and then also offensive tackle Hakeem Adeniji.
Okay, fantastic. And how's that? How do you like that stadium? Is this your first time there, or was there maybe a preseason
we had the preseason
game?
Yeah, we had the preseason game last summer, and then I was out here for media day of Super Bowl week. It's only 63,000 people, so it's a small footprint. There's not that many people, but it's very, very loud. And by the way, that big torch, the Al Davis Memorial torch that's in the plaza, that's the largest 3D printed object in the world.
Oh, no.
Or at least it was at the time in 2020 when they opened this stadium. So, yeah, 85 feet tall. 85 feet tall, and but the flames that you see from it, obviously not real flames. It's actually an LED projection. But the torch itself is a 3D print. Can you believe that?
They tricked me on that one.
Technology, man.
It looks very cool, very cool. And at the bottom of it, the most important thing is at the bottom of it, at the base, which is concourse level, there's a big bar around it. So very Raider, very Raider.
Okay, Christy, I forgot to ask you this because I was watching the tape from the stadium and things like that. How is the field? New field? Same field? Chopped up field? What are we looking like with conditions wise?
Yeah, so it's natural grass, right? And so when UNLV plays, like they had a big game against Utah State on Saturday, they play on artificial surface. Okay. So this is a tray, the natural grass that is outside. It's similar to Arizona, where they roll the natural grass in for the NFL games. The rest of the time it's outside, and they use artificial surface for the college games. So the grass right now, I mean, you can see some divots and stuff, right, with some of it, but I'll keep an eye on it. But it's not, it has nothing to do with any wear and tear from the college, because they play on artificial surface.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was just curious if it was at any new field or anything like that, but thank you for that.
You bet.
Awesome, Christy. Thank you so much, and we'll catch up with you again next hour.
Sounds good. Thanks, Derek.
Absolutely. There she goes, Cowboys sideline reporter Christy Scales giving us the pregame scoop here, and just saw the official inactive report. You do have Savone Revel and Marvion Overshown active, so that's beautiful. Damone Clark, Jaden Blue, Triquez Bridges, Hakeem Adeniji, Jonathan Mingo still can't get on the field, and of course Solomon Thomas dealing with that calf injury, so he is out.
Yeah, those are the guys that have all been kind of the guys that were part of the some of the problems that you've had. So now they become the inactive guys, and we'll see if, in fact, that the guys that have been waiting on the wings can get an opportunity to make things a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, the Jonathan Mingo stuff is...
Oh, no, it is what it is.
That's a beatdown.
But that's a situation, too, where I think the coaches, the confidence factor in Tolbert. I think that's what that really is all about right there.
Okay, so just to freshen us up here a little bit, Geno Smith has thrown more interceptions than touchdowns this year.
True.
12 interceptions, 11 touchdowns. He has the highest interception rate in the league.
Let's hope that carries on.
Yeah, need that to carry on in a big way tonight. I mean, this is how you want to come out of the bye, going up against a team like this, and hopefully get your confidence up here. I cannot wait to see all the new additions defensively. Ashton Jeanty averaging 3.8 yards per carry. Are you more confident in the pass defense tonight or the run defense?
Well, I'd like to believe with the new additions that the run defense would be a little bit better.
Agreed.
And I think that that Clowney and Ezeraku have played better at the edges. We've seen Houston plays better at the edges. I'd like to think that maybe, do you think this kind of lights a fire under Murray's rear a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Of having
going series to series like that with Logan Wilson.
Let's hope he plays a little better, too.
I'm glad they're doing that because it'll give you a good picture of this series was a Murray series, that series was a Wilson series, and we'll see who fares out a little bit better. All right, we're just over 60 minutes to kickoff, and it is an absolutely loaded final hour with head coach Brian Schottenheimer. We'll hear from Jerry Jones, and we go behind enemy lines with the voice of the Raiders, Jason Horowitz. That's all coming up next right here on The Fan.
Get ready for the most electrifying holiday event, the Cowboys Christmas Extravaganza, powered by Reliant at the Star in Frisco.
hands and hearts working together. It's the same with healthcare. You need the right support, the right access, the right solution, when and where you need it. United Healthcare is the proud healthcare sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. We bring coverage you can count on into Cowboys territory. See how at uhc.com.
Hi, it's Pete Thompson from the Consumer Team. Every year, the summer heat puts a real strain on your HVAC system, which means it needs a tune-up before it gets cold and you turn on the heat. Call the On-Time Experts today and get their fall tune-up, normally $199 for just $59. Your system will get a thorough cleaning and maintenance, and you'll get a stay warm guarantee for this winter, too. Book your appointment now at theontimeexperts.com. Theontimeexperts.com. The On-Time Experts, the official HVAC partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
You're listening to 105.3 The Fan.
You're turn it on, leave it on. Home of America's team is 105.3 The Fan.
Go low, baby.
KRLD-FM and HD1, Dallas-Fort Worth.
An Odyssey sports station. The Dallas Cowboys radio network is on the air.
Deep fade, left corner of the end zone, 1-for-1. Caught the ball. Touchdown. Touchdown, Cowboys.
With Brad Schaub, Abe Loffenberg, Christy Scales, Eric Chiofalo, and Bryan Broaddus. Brought to you by
AT&T. Connecting changes everything. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. And by blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with blockchain.com.
Also brought to you by
Bell Nunnally, behind every great company. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, feed your wild side. Volleman's Dairy, the official milk of the Dallas Cowboys. Tyson Foods, get your Tyson Cowboys Star Nuggets available now. And by DallasCowboys.com. Keep track of the boys with daily podcasts and up-to-the-minute blogging at DallasCowboys.com and on the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here's Eric Chiofalo and Bryan Broaddus.
Mac Jones hands it off on a draw to Ramondre Stevenson, breaks out of a tackle at the 50, has the 45, breaks away from another tackle, pitches it backwards, and now Jacoby Myers spinning around. He throws it to Chandler Jones in midfield, and a stiff arm. Chandler Jones racing towards the end zone. He scores! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
I can't believe what I just saw.
Again!
I can't believe what I just saw. This is unbelievable. Wow.
On the first night of Hanukkah, it's a miracle in Las Vegas.
What a call from the voice of the Raiders, Jason Horowitz, set to join us here momentarily. Welcome into the official pregame show of America's Team, live on the Dallas Cowboys radio network. Cowboys versus Raiders in Vegas, Monday Night Football, back off the bye week, and so many new additions to this Cowboys defense in particular. We'll get into all of it, but we start by going behind enemy lines with the voice of the Raiders, the man you just heard, Jason Horowitz. Jason, how the heck you doing, man?
Fantastic. It's you guys are coming in with all those Brad Sham calls, and you are so lucky to have one of the best in the business who I enjoy sitting next to here. And did you guys hear us talking about that 5 minutes ago, or did you have that call ready to go all along? Because if not, that is one heck of a coincidence.
Yeah, that was pre-planned, and we had that thing cooked up, ready to rock and roll, because it is an all-time call and an all-time moment for the Raiders over the last few years, no question about it. So we appreciate it, man, and thank you so much for giving us some time. Looking forward to this game tonight, and I'll just start with just what the Pete Carroll experience has been like, taking over as head coach of the Raiders.
Well, I mean, Pete Carroll's wonderful. And, you spent some time with him in the offseason. There was a point in June when I was I don't live in Vegas, but there was a point in June where I was out here for a mini camp and spending some time with him on our practice facility, and we were just shooting baskets. And I said, hey, Coach, you want me to grab those rebounds? He's like, absolutely not. I get my own rebounds. At that point, he was still 73. And he just, his energy, his understanding of people, his desire to actually find interesting tidbits about people and get the best out of their characteristics is truly remarkable. And he talks openly about that. And I still think all of that is wonderful. The issues on the field, though, have certainly been a problem, and I think he understands that what he took over is a little bit more difficult, at least than what they thought they had.
Yeah, I mean, this Raiders offense in particular has certainly been a struggle. The offensive line dealing with so many injuries, and the Geno Smith experience as well. I mean, is this all really because of the offensive line, and Geno's just paying the price for it?
The injuries have only mounted up more of late. Colton Miller got hurt week 4, at the end of week 4. And the reality is the Raiders should have won that game. Geno Smith had 4 interceptions that game. Or the Raiders had 4 turnovers, and he had 3 interceptions that game. And it was the second time the first 4 weeks that Geno had 3 interceptions. And the reality is the Raiders still had a 53-yard kick to win that was blocked. And so, if you have 2 turnovers or 3, they win that game. Daniel Carlson has missed an extra point against the Jaguars 2 weeks ago. If he doesn't miss that extra point, the Raiders don't go to overtime. They beat the Jaguars. And then last week, the reality is, and I don't know how many people watched that Thursday night game on Amazon Prime, but in the first half, Raiders should have been up 17-0 late in the second quarter. There was a 4th-and-1 touchdown, 37 yards, that was called back on an offensive pass interference that was not necessary by Dante Thornton, 4th-round rookie wide receiver. There was a 34-yard Ashton Genty run where it was called back by a holding by Jack Besh, TCU receiver who's 2nd-round pick. That was not necessary. So you wipe out points in both of those, and the Raiders were dominating. And Geno was playing well, and yet you go to the second half and we lose 10-7. Oh, by the way, there was another missed kick, 48 yards. So it's a 2-7 team that has scored less than 10 points 4 times, the same amount of times that you guys have scored 37. And the reality is, at worst, this team should be 4-5, maybe even 5-4. But here we are, 2-7. The numbers don't look good. Geno's taking a lot of criticism. Jacoby Myers is now in Jacksonville. Offensive line is down 2 starters, maybe for the rest of the year. And they got a lot of work to do.
Jason, my biggest fear is one of my favorite players in the NFL draft last year has one of those huge games. And, and with Ashton Genty, I absolutely loved him as a player. I loved watching his tape. It just seems like, to me, outside runs have been okay, inside runs not so good. Is it? And trust me, he can make a lot of people miss. I know you probably said that a bunch, but how are things for him? Is he staying positive about things?
Yeah. Ashton's staying positive, but he's also, the losing's wearing on him.
Sure.
A couple weeks ago, Brock Bowers comes back from missing 3 games with his injury, and he, the other part of the offense, guys, you mentioned the offensive line. Brock played the first 4 games, but he got hurt in week 1 and wasn't even close to being the same.
Yeah.
And then he came back against the Jaguars and had 12 for 127 and 3 touchdowns. And, hopefully tonight's one of those type of nights on this end too. But, Ashton's starting to wear on him. There's some choice words he has had. He's understood early in the year that he was missing some assignments. It wasn't all the lineman's fault. It was his fault. But if there's been an internal struggle, or at least a reported struggle throughout the season, about Chip Kelly's desire to run the ball. Pete Carroll wants to run the ball, and how often this year this team has gotten away from running the ball. There are moments this year where Ashton's had 9 or 10 touches in the first quarter, maybe 7 or 8 runs, 2 catches, and he'll have 15 or 16 for the game. And those aren't the games where they lose 31-0 or 40-6, where you have to get away from the run. They've been games that have been close. So there is a dialogue, at least, to say that they're still trying to figure out the balance for Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly.
Behind enemy lines with the voice of the Raiders, Jason Horowitz, here on your Cowboys pregame show. The other guy on this Raiders offense that strikes fear into all of us is Brock Bowers. I mean, an absolute animal. When teams have been able to slow him down, is there a common theme on how they're able to go about that? Because we don't know that the Cowboys have anybody that can cover him.
We have no answers there. We have none.
Well, but okay, you say that, but would you honestly know what to expect from the defense today, right? I mean, Quinnen Williams, Logan Wilson, we'll see what they add. If I'm not mistaken, DeMarvion Overshown is back, right?
Sure.
And Malik Hooker is back, right? Yeah. So you've got 4 new pieces to a defense that has been atrocious, but at a minimum, 3 of those are really solid parts. Overshown was looking like he could be a star before he went down last year. So, there's a lot of, at least if I'm a Cowboys fan, optimistic hope for the defense for the final 7 or 8 games of the year.
Yeah, there's hope for the defense, Jason, for the pieces. They just don't have anybody that can cover a guy like that.
Yeah. Well, then you cover him with 3.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Then you cover him with 3.
No,
that's you know.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's the thing that going into this game. They've had very poor play at safety play. Yeah. They haven't really played zone. They played a lot more man defense. My fear is all the crossing routes you guys run is going to be a problem for Dallas today.
Brock Bowers last week, 1 catch, 31 yards against the Broncos. He was only targeted 3 times and 0 after halftime.
Yeah.
And the reality is that I'm sure there were plays called. They talked about it. Chip Kelly, Pete Carroll, there were plays called for Brock.
Yeah.
But he was taken away, and then Geno was pressured, and then Geno got hurt. The Broncos had 5 first-half sacks. So, the reality is, how do you take away Brock? You get pressure on Geno, particularly up the middle. It's why you go out and trade for Quinnen Williams. And you have Kenny Clark. So that is an area of concern for the Raiders tonight. That's number 1. Number 2, you put 2 guys on him. And then you force the Raiders to see if any of your receivers other than Trey Tucker can do anything. Because, you bring in Tyler Lockett, but he's towards the end of his career. And the 2 rookies haven't shown, either by playing time or opportunity, that they can contribute in the NFL yet. And so, I think the Raiders fan base is, and the front office certainly, is hoping that the second half of this season is the Jack Bech, Dante Thornton coming out party, but they haven't shown that it could be that yet.
Now, let's take a look at this Raiders defense. Of course, we know Max Crosby. He's a household name. Anybody else on this defense that has had a pretty good year?
It's been spotty, but it's also, there's been a couple of consistencies. Devin White has been consistent. And, I believe he's 7th. I don't know what he is after yesterday, but coming into the week, he was 7th in tackles in the NFL. He has made some really solid plays around the line of scrimmage, and this is a guy that was a Pro Bowl, All-Pro player. He kind of lost his love for football. He was in Tampa where John Spytek, our GM, saw him, knew him, all those things, and he has proven that he has a lot left. So Devin White's been consistent. Eric Stokes, former first-round corner for the Packers, who after his first year was hurt most of his career. He has been outstanding. And hopefully they'll re-sign him. He was on a 1-year deal. He has been outstanding. But the negative to that is because his stats don't stand out because everybody has been testing the other side of the field. Caillou Luke Kelly, Las Vegas native, had 2 picks last week. Earlier this year, he struggled. Darian Porter, 3rd-round pick, long, lengthy, fast-type guy, but converted wide receiver who didn't really play a ton of corner in college until his final year. And so he's coming along and hasn't played a ton except for a couple of games. So there's been great play, right? Charles Snowden last week was outstanding. Jonah Laulu this year at times has been outstanding. But other than Eric Stokes, Devin White, and Max Crosby, it hasn't been enough consistency from any of the other guys.
Jason, why has Patrick Graham played so much just base defense? Is there a philosophy there with that?
I don't know that they feel if they blitz that they have the ability to cover over the middle of the field.
Sure.
The Raiders have been... and that's not talking to Patrick Graham on that specifically,
right.
But that is, but the middle of the field, and this is my 4th year, guys. The middle of the field has been a problem in coverage, pretty much all 4 years. Robert Spillane, a couple years ago when they brought him from Pittsburgh, nobody thought he could be a good cover. He turned out to be a pretty good player in coverage, but he's now with the Patriots. Isaiah Polamau has been good at times in the secondary, but they're kind of missing that go-to definite safety. I will say Lonnie Johnson, who came back last week for the first time all year. He had a broken fibula in a scrimmage here in Allegiant Stadium in August. He collided with Max Crosby, broke his leg. Last week was his first game back, and it looked different. The big nickel package looked different with him at safety with Polamau and then Jeremy Chin up closer to the line. It was more effective. And I assume that will be in place again tonight. So maybe that changes a little bit of what you were just asking because if you feel more confident with those 3, then you blitz a little bit more.
I love it, Jason. Thank you so much for all the information. You're the man, and enjoy the game tonight.
All right, you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, no problem. There he goes, voice of the Raiders, Jason Horowitz.
What were you going to say there?
I have no idea. All right, let's go ahead and preview this bad boy. Broaddus Super Bowl champion analysis coming to you right now, brought to you by SeatGeek and Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. So Christy Scales told us that we're going to be getting a series-to-series switch out at the Mike linebacker position with Kenneth Murray probably starting the game, and then they'll go every other series with the newly acquired Logan Wilson.
Yeah, I think, and I wonder if that's one of the things that kind of lights a fire underneath, Kenneth Murray. that, hey, listen, you play better, you'll stay on the field. You struggle like you have been for the first several games, then we're gonna put Logan Wilson out there and go from there. So this is one of those, as you would like to say, this is a crossroads game right now. For
old Kenneth
Murray. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and just in general, how should they be approaching things tonight? Where can they take advantage of this Raiders offense that's really struggled?
Yeah, they're Jason was talking about the offensive line and the issues and no Colton Miller and all that. They have been bad across the board. It hasn't been anything. There isn't like that one player like, oh, well, this guy's had a pretty good. No, they've really struggled at left tackle. They really struggled. Stone Forsythe at left tackle has just not been very, very good. That's been a big issue. They've lost guys to injury inside. They're light at center. If Dallas gets in this game and all of a sudden you see the Raiders blocking these guys, blocking the front. Boy, that is going to be a terrible sign in my book because this group should not be able to handle Dallas the way that they do. The way they need to.
Genty, Bowers, Trey Tucker, right? Yeah. Those are the three playmakers that you're going to have to slow down here.
Right.
Okay, and then defensively, they're not bad.
No,
they're just kind of okay.
But Jason's right again. You watch the middle of the field against these guys. They've struggled at safety. They're much like the Cowboys. There have been some big plays, and I asked them the question of how much just base defense, because they put like Jeremy Chin and stuff in some coverage and in the slot, and it just hasn't been good enough. So
Lamb take advantage of that all night.
Yeah, that would be if you're a Cowboy fan, that's your hope.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the offense can get rolling like it did to start the season, because the last couple of weeks hasn't gone the Cowboys' way offensively. So let's go ahead and hear what head coach Brian Schottenheimer has to say about that. We are now under 60 minutes to kick off Monday Night Football. Cowboys in Vegas to take on the Raiders, and let's get you the coach's corner. Brad Sham, voice of the Cowboys, standing by with Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer. That's coming up next. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Miller Lite, the legendary light beer. The originator, the inventor. If this beer could talk, it'd tell stories about that one time, that night, that one guy, that one gal. Writing a story 50 years long and 50 million friends wide. Because legendary stories start with a light. Here's to 50 years of Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Texas tailgating is serious business, and as an official partner of the Dallas Cowboys, nobody knows that better than Specs. Fuel up with a big league selection of ice-cold beers, hard-to-find spirits, world-class wines, and gourmet snacks, all at peewee-sized prices. Gear up for game day with 2 Texas originals, the Dallas Cowboys and Specs. The fun starts here.
Shout Specs, low priced, amazing. Here's to you, shout cheers to savings.
Cowboys fans, SeatGeek is the only primary ticketing partner of America's team and here to help you experience all the action this season. SeatGeek makes it easy to find the perfect seats to the perfect game so you can be part of all the touchdown celebrations and momentum-shifting takeaways this season. Whether you're getting tickets to Cowboys games or to any other live event in DFW, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official primary ticketing partner of the Dallas Cowboys. SeatGeek.
Hey, Cowboy fans. Keith Davis here, former Cowboys safety.
Keith Davis into the end zone.
You know what separates champions from the rest? Making the right move at the right moment. With blockchain.com, that's never been easier. The Cowboys became America's team by striking bold when it mattered most. Now it's your turn. Invest like your icons with blockchain.com. Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys today to get started and learn more. That's blockchain.com/Cowboys.
Crown Royal and the Dallas Cowboys are bringing back the Royal Rig for Season 2.
See it in action at AT&T Stadium on Thanksgiving Day, where the Dallas Cowboys take on the Kansas City Chiefs, and around Dallas on November 26th and November 28th. Visit KrownRoyal.com to see where else the Royal Rig is stopping this NFL season. That's KrownRoyal.com. Please drink responsibly.
Fly to Philly, take off to Tampa, depart for Denver. Following your team on the road is more rewarding with the American Airlines Advantage program. Your flights and everyday spend.
And we will go into the owner's box with Jerry Jones coming up here in just a few minutes. But right now it's time for tonight's Coach's Corner. Voice of the Cowboys, Brad Sham, standing by with Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer. Brad, take it away.
All right, guys, thanks very much. This has been the most horrifically bizarre week that anybody could ever have imagined. And so I think my first question for the head coach is, you had so many difficult tasks, and at some point you knew that you were going to have to transition the whole team back to football. Did you think about that very much in advance, and how did you know when's the right time to just gently, you're not flipping a switch, but gently shift the emphasis?
Yeah, I think, Brad, as I look back upon this, the fact we're playing tonight, long week Monday, was a benefit. We came back in Monday. We all came off the bye. We got back together. We were able to kind of hug and lean on one another. We had some breakout sessions. We were able to talk. I know I felt comfort being around the guys. What was so difficult about this whole situation is we're all spread out all over the country, and it's like you want your people close. Tuesday, we got the guys back in, had them run around a little bit, work out, but we also had a brotherhood breakfast, and we sat and we just ate breakfast together, all of us, for about 45 minutes, and it was good for me to hear the guys telling jokes and laughing, and you felt the energy. Then they were off Wednesday, and then I talked to them very clearly Thursday when they came back. I said, hey, guys, look, we don't move on, but we do have to move forward. I believe that the best thing we can do for Marshawn, along with honoring him and Catalina and his family off the field, is to play well on the field, and these guys, they believe that.
And when you saw them on the field on Thursday, did you have the feeling confirmed that, okay, we're doing this the best possible way?
I do. I feel like our guys are in a good spot. Grief hits everybody differently. I don't think we're over this. There's going to be moments that, I don't want to talk about. There's going to be moments that some of our players are emotional. I think I'm trying to prepare these guys with what to expect from, tonight and what it's going to look like, and moments of silence and T-shirts and things like that. That's my job as the head coach, because I don't want the emotions to get away from them. I want them to go out there and play free and fly around playing the game that they love.
All right. Changing the subject, at some point, and maybe some of it will be tonight, you're going to have about a half a new defense, which is kind of exciting. Do you have a sense that you know what you're going to see, not just tonight, but what it'll look like, in the next little gauntlet period?
I think, we're excited about all the new pieces that we've got coming into play. I think it's a little bit like, for me and the coaches, Coach Flus, I know, feel this way. It's a little bit like Christmas came early when you're talking about getting, Overshone back, a guy by the name of Quinnen Williams that we played a couple weeks ago, and I know how disruptive he can be. And then, you've got a third-round draft pick that's very talented, Siobhan Revel, that we're expecting to play some this evening, and of course a couple safeties coming back that the fans know and love. And so at the same time, it's we got to go and execute. This game's going to come down to execution. We are coming off the bye. We are coming off some distractions, but these guys have been locked in. We've had a couple good days of prep, but now we got to go make it happen on the field.
With Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson, am I right that there are different challenges in incorporating them into their positions, and particularly in Wilson's case? How do you think you're going to do that?
Yeah, there is. I think I'll speak to Quinnen first. We've got a little bit of advantage because Aaron White-Cotton coached him in New York, and there's a ability to translate things. Plus, he's very smart. Logan, same thing, as instinctive of a linebacker that I've ever been around, his ability to dissect things. And it just kind of makes sense to him. But, again, the coordination of being the green dot potentially and having to make fits and just calls and things like that, it's a process. We will not play perfect tonight, but I do know we'll play hard.
And so with Wilson and also with Revel, how do you decide how to work them in, and different challenges, snap counts? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so, because honestly, we'll be smart with what we do with Demo. He's probably not going to play the entire game this evening, but you'll see, some different packages that we have where we're putting different guys in at different spots. We want to be smart with that. You'll see Vaughn playing some certain packages at the boundary corner position for us. And again, there's a lot of moving parts, but like you said, we want to keep this plan coming off the bye very tight. And like I said, I've been preaching really one thing, and it's going to come down to execution, our ability to execute versus a Raiders opponent that will be ready for us as well.
On the offensive side of the ball, before last Thursday, how much time had you spent and what had you done in terms of looking at the plays you were calling and the self-scout opportunity you get from a bye and deciding, need to change that a little bit?
Yeah, quite a bit. I mean, Tuesday, Wednesday for the coaches was all about self-scout, all about diving into the stats. The stats are kind of the roadmap that gets you to the video. The video is kind of what brings it to life, to where you say, you know what, we're really good at this. We need to do this more. Hey, we're really up and down on this. Can we make it better? Yes. Okay, here's how we make it better. And, hey, you know what? We're not very good at this. So let's stop using that, and let's kind of put that aside right now, and maybe we'll bring it out another day. But I thought it was very, very good, and we got a lot of stuff done, of course, from a self-scout standpoint, addressing ourselves and no one else.
You and Connor Riley have both said right tackle will be a competition. How has that evolved coming into this game, and is this going to be in your best estimate of competition going forward for a while?
Yeah, I think competition's a great thing. And again, I'm going to speak to Terrence Steele just because Terrence welcomes the competition. Terrence has been, a key cog in our offensive line here for a number of years, and I love the passion the guy plays with. But you've got a very talented young man in Nate Thomas that's deserving the opportunity to compete. And I think our job as coaches is to create competition at all spots.
What do you see as the difference in Thomas between him playing right tackle and left tackle?
Again, I think he's good at both. I think you have to be a swing tackle in this league, but his size, his power, his strength is something that jumps off the film. And again, when he's gone in there, he's playing with a lot of confidence, which is good.
Last thing, I'd be completely remiss not to ask you about reflections about your time with Pete Carroll and how he's influenced you and what this will be like looking across the field at him tonight.
It'll be great. I try not to look over there too often because I've been around so long, Brad. I know a lot of people on both sidelines every week, and but Pete's been so amazing to me and helped really. I found Seattle at the right time, and Pete's invested in me, and I really care about the guy. It'd be great to see him, but I want to shake his hand after the game, give him a hug after we beat him.
Yeah, tell him nice try. Yeah, thanks very much. All right, appreciate your time. Godspeed tonight.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, fellas, back to you.
Thank you, Brad Sham. Tonight's Coach's Corner brought to you by Gillette, the official shave of the Dallas Cowboys. And yes, I mean, the storylines are through the roof in this game tonight. It seems like he's pretty confident that Quinnen Williams can go ahead and hit the ground running, and I am thrilled. Just I don't know how much optimism I really have about the defense, but the excitement level is sky high when you consider all the new faces on this defense here. And then offensively, I mean, do you feel like when it comes to the bye week, and he talks about the self-scouting and all that kind of stuff,
yeah.
Do you think they are able to identify some things with the offense that have struggled as of late that they can go ahead and get remedied here?
Well, you've got a staff of it seems like 100 coaches. You've got the coaches who assist the coaches who assist the coaches. So, you could go to your analytics department, you could go to your coaches that are breaking down your film. There's coaches that, they could push buttons and say, okay, where are we really struggling? Why are we having red zone problems? Are we having red zone problems because of assignments, play calls, penalties, mental errors? What's the reasoning there? So yeah, there's things that they know that they haven't been very good at throughout the whole season. Mm-hmm. It's not just you're just not getting ready for a game. They're self-scouting every week. They could put together, let me see all our negative plays. Let me see let's see all our best red zone plays. Let's see what, you could get an idea. Really, the bye week is about trying to recharge your battery, is what it is. We make a big deal about all this stuff that goes on in the bye week. Honestly, it's about getting away from football is what it is. Because you've known all along where you've been deficient. You know going into this game that, okay, we're going to attack. If the Raiders are going to play us straight up, base defense, 60-something% of the game, we know we can get into this and probably be pretty good. Now, we'll see if the Raiders change some things, but bye week changes and swings. I guess we've seen it before where CD went in there and bitched at McCarthy about the offense and that stuff, and maybe he did some things different. But I think overall, though, they know where they've been deficient offensively here, especially the last couple of weeks.
All right, we're 42 minutes to kick off Cowboys and Raiders in Vegas. Monday Night Football. This is exactly where you want to be here on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. Let's go into the owner's box with Jerry Jones. That's coming up next. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Cowboys fans, here's the game plan. Touchdown Tuesday at Take 5 Oil Change. Just wear your Cowboys gear and save 25% on your oil change. No huddle, no overtime. Just drive in, stay in your car.
writing a story 50 years long and 50 million friends wide, because legendary stories start with a light. Here's to 50 years of Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
This is the Dallas Cowboys pregame show, brought to you by
Alleman's Dairy, the official milk of the Dallas Cowboys. Arrow Exterminators, official pest control provider of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. And by DallasCowboys.com. Keep track of the boys with daily podcasts and up-to-the-minute blogging at DallasCowboys.com and on the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Here's Eric Chiofalo and Bryan Broaddus.
38 minutes to a Monday Night Football kickoff. Cowboys in Vegas to take on the Raiders. We'll go inside the booth with the voice of the Cowboys, Brad Sham, coming up here in a few minutes. We got Broaddus' Zebra Report as well. But right now, let's go into the owner's box live there in Vegas, Allegiant Stadium. It's Cowboys sideline reporter Christy Scales standing by with Jerry Jones.
Thank you, guys. Jerry is right where he likes to be, in the big room here in Vegas, right, with all eyes on the Cowboys and Raiders on Monday Night Football. Jerry, so exciting because you've got reinforcements coming in on defense. And before we talk about the new additions, let's talk about DeMarvion Overshown. What kind of pitch count? What are you looking for Demo tonight?
Well, we'll have him in. We'll let him open some series. We'll see how it goes. We want him out there as much as he's needed. He looks like he can go normal reps, but we'll look at him and we'll see at the end of the game. If we should not need him out there, we won't put him out there as the game goes along. But I'm not going to get into that. I hope he gets out there and contributes to this win.
This will be the premiere tonight, the NFL debut of Savone Revel, your third-round pick, the cornerback coming off the knee injury from last year. I know we won't see as much of him as we see of DeMarvion, but why were you guys so excited to add him, and how much do you think he can contribute early?
Well, he's a wonderful prospect. We thought maybe one of the best, if not the best, in the draft. Reason we got him at that position, at that part in the draft, because he had that knee surgery, and that's what we've been waiting on. He's done a wonderful job of rehabbing. He's absolutely a wonderful athlete. All the trainers, coaches that have worked with him say he didn't disappoint anything by virtue of have a great future with us. I am real excited what we're doing with him, and we'll have to measure kind of situations that we put him in, because this is his first NFL game.
Well, the best way to help cornerbacks is to have a good pass rush, and I know that with Quinnen Williams being brought over from the Jets, people talk about his run-stopping ability, but can also get some pressure up the middle. How excited are you for Quinnen Williams to make his debut for Cowboys Nation?
Well, it'll make a significant difference, for sure, and actually addresses something that we've always wanted. Everybody wants it. How about a little run stopping plus a little pressure on the passer with the same players? Then you can talk about having just 4 rushers. We'll do both tonight. So it's going to be interesting to have him out there with Osa, and then have him out there with Kenny. We've got a pretty powerful group in that middle, and we haven't had that around here in a long time.
Well, speaking of middle, let's talk about at the second level with Logan Wilson going to come in and share some time at middle linebacker with Kenneth Murray, who you had also traded for early in the offseason. Logan Wilson, why was he the right fit?
He has great instincts, and he just has a way of basically seeing where the blockers aren't. And that has so much instinctive aspect to it. Well, he's shown that in his career, and he should hit the ground running. And And that big front we've got up there that we just talked about is doing its job. He should be up there to fill those holes when the back tries to come through it.
I got one last question for you, and we are in the shadow of the Al Davis Memorial Torch here at Allegiant Stadium, and you had such a close relationship with the late Al Davis. What's your favorite Al Davis Raiders story?
Well, first of all, this is a triumph for the Davis family. His son, Mark, worked so hard to have this stadium here. His dad would be so proud of it. It says Raiders all over it, both outside and inside as well. So it's a real tribute to Al. Mark's really made his daddy proud, I'll tell you. And this is a tribute to the NFL. It's a great investment by the state and by the city of Las Vegas, and makes a great presentation of NFL football. Congratulations on that aspect.
We appreciate it. Now kick their tail, right? Thanks, Jerry. That's the view from the owner's box here at Allegiant Stadium as we continue counting down to Cowboys and Raiders. Let's rejoin Eric and Brian.
Thank you, Christy. Tonight's Owner's Box brought to you by Yeti, the official cooler of the Dallas Cowboys and the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. And now it's time for Bryan Broaddus' Zebra Report, brought to you by Arrow Exterminators, the official pest control provider of the Dallas Cowboys. Broaddus, what are we in store for?
Yeah, we got Brad Allen tonight and his crew. Brad Allen, they have officiated 8 games this year, so they've missed a couple of games on the rotation. But they're the team, they're the officials that have called the least amount of penalties this year. So they are at the bottom of the list when it comes to that. Very balanced when it comes to home and away. 44 for the home, 42 for the aways. So, yeah, it tries to be very, very balanced with the way that they call. The calls you need to be alert for tonight, offensive holding. But what's funny about the offensive holding of the 17, 11 against the home team. This could be one of those games tonight if Dallas can kind of crank it up a little bit with Overshown, with Ezeraku, with Williams, those guys, with some pass rush, with this kind of this banged up, beat up, poor Raider offensive line. You might be in a situation where if you don't get pressure, don't get sacked, that you could draw some holding calls here. So be very, very mindful of that. False start would be the second one. That's just something that the teams deal with. That's kind of a self-inflicted one. Defensive offsides, that happens to be lining up more than anything. So you got to be careful if you're one of these Cowboys defensive linemen that if you're trying to cheat it into the neutral zone a little bit, this Brad Allen crew will get you. They've officiated 8 games. They have 7 of these calls. So 1 a game. Mm-hmm. There's been some defensive offsides, some lineup problems. Here's another one that we always talk about, Eric, is delay of the game. 8 games again. 7 delay of game penalties have been called by this crew. So
clock watchers.
Yeah, clock watchers. With Dak Prescott, yes, they've played there in the preseason, but Dak not part of that preseason football. So here we are. Dak needs to go find the clocks, make sure the plays are getting in at a timely manner so they don't have to deal with that. Unnecessary roughness. Brad Allen's crew's not going to let you have any of that. They're going to try and officiate this game in the way it needs to, but that's 6 for that. Defensive pass interference, defensive holding, and then roughing the passer would be the ones you kind of need to have an idea about. The final one here also, too, is intentional grounding. So if you're a quarterback that's in that mode, be careful if you let that ball go. Make sure he gets past the line of scrimmage. But Brad Allen's crew, they're the least penalized crew in the league so far this season.
I love it. All right, there it is. Your Zebra Report presented by Bryan Broaddus right here on the official pregame show of America's team. Here we are now under 30 minutes to kick off Monday Night Football, Cowboys and Raiders. Let's go inside the booth with the voice of the Cowboys, Brad Sham. That's coming up next. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Miller Lite, the legendary light beer. The originator, the inventor. If this beer could talk, it'd tell stories about that one time, that night, that one guy, that one gal. Writing a story 50 years long and 50 million friends wide. Because legendary stories start with a light. Here's to 50 years of Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hey, you know having a game plan to stay healthy this season shouldn't be complicated, right? Yeah. That's why Baylor Scott & White Health makes it easy to get the specialists, services, and support you need all in one place, all on your schedule.
Cowboys in Vegas to take on the Raiders. Let's go inside the booth, brought to you by the WinStar World Casino and Resort, the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. Please game responsibly. Voice of the Cowboys, Brad Sham, joining us now. Brad, happy game day, man. How you doing?
Doing okay. How are you guys?
Doing well. Doing well. Looking forward to this game here. There's a lot of unknowns with the new additions defensively, but I'm curious, who are you more fearful for tonight? What Brock Bowers could do to the defense, or Max Crosby wreck and shop on the Cowboys offense?
I should say Crosby because he's one of the best players in the league, but I've seen the Cowboys defense play. Yeah. So I'm moved to say Bowers, and don't sleep on Tucker, number one. I don't know if you've noticed, Eric, but the Cowboys corners haven't played very well. And the fact that nobody's ever heard of the Raiders wide receivers, wait till they play these guys for a minute. Now, we'll see if they've settled in during practice. And, Babe and I have talked, and we will talk again at the top of the broadcast about the fact that everybody's excited about the new additions. And Rebel is a guy who they desperately need. Rebel had no OTAs, no minicamp, no nothing. And the indications are that he'll play, but he's not going to play very much. They're going to get his feet wet. I think we're 2 or 3 weeks away from seeing what the Cowboys' defense can be, and that's incorporating Wilson and getting Overshown on a full plate, and also Rebel. So, look, Crosby he's one of the great players, and everybody thinks it's just because he's a great pass rusher. But Max Crosby is among the top 3 or 4 every year in tackles for loss. That's on running plays.
Yeah.
And that makes him more than a pass rusher. And so he's a handful. But if they get Bowers going, I don't know. I'm not sure who's going to cover him.
See, that's the problem I have, Brad, is I'm sure Dallas has a plan. I just don't know if they have the personnel to be able to deal with Bowers like that.
You know, it's interesting to me, Brian. He hasn't started the last few games, and I know he had some injury issues. Mayer, by the way, who does start, and you'd think they'd play a lot of 2 tight ends with those 2 guys. He's also very good.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know which linebacker or safety is supposed to stay with Bowers when he's healthy and they're clicking. So the key to that, of course, is not letting Geno Smith get comfortable. And if he's uncomfortable, then that changes a lot of things for all the receivers. As somebody who I trust in the organization, who would not want me to name him, said the real problem with their defense has been rush and cover. You have to do one or the other, and we haven't done either.
Right.
What's the key to the game for the Cowboys offensively, trying to get back on track a little bit?
You know, Eric, run the ball. If they can run, then they'll be able to pass. I do like the matchups of both Lamb and Pickens against the Raider corners. And, we'll see how much they blitz. I don't think they want to blitz a lot. But Dak's the best in the league in some respects against the blitz. The whole thing is run the ball. If you can run the ball, you can throw when you want to.
Brad, do you guys have a fine system in place for any Oakland Raiders mishaps?
We haven't discussed it yet, but we have had that in the past with the Chargers, and that's a very good idea. I think we'll do that in the next few minutes.
How about it? I love it. Brad, it's great to hear your voice again, and enjoy the game tonight. We'll be listening.
Thanks, Eric. You too.
There he goes, voice of the Cowboys, Brad Sham. Before we get to Christy Scales and her keys to the game, let's go ahead and pause 10 seconds to allow stations to identify themselves along the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Your turn it on, leave it on. Home of America's team is 105.3 The Fan.
Go low, baby.
KRLD-FM and HD1, Dallas-Fort Worth.
An Odyssey sports station.
All right, let's get Christy Scales' keys to the game, brought to you by Pollock Aurora, proud supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Christy, I know we talked earlier about the field conditions. Have you learned anything else?
Yeah, so it's a natural grass field. It's a tray that rolls out during the week and rolls in, just like the stadium in Arizona. So the Bermuda grass looks good. A few divots in warm-ups, but talking with kicker Brandon Aubrey following his pregame warm-ups, he says it's interesting because the field is kind of uneven out there.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And it's uneven. It's flat, right? It's a lot of venues are crowned, right? Especially outdoor stadia, but not this one because they, we're underneath. It's an indoor stadium that they roll the grass outside. But yeah, it's going to be interesting with Aubrey and Anger in the footing tonight.
Quite the Cowboys takeover out there.
Oh my gosh, it's just not only taking over Allegiant Stadium, but like the entire Las Vegas Strip. There is a lot of blue and silver in Allegiant Stadium tonight, so it does look like and sound like a Cowboys home game, at least through pregame. But here's what I have for my keys tonight, guys, because takeaways have been few and far between for the Cowboys, right? Only 7 takeaways in 9 games. You're talking about the secondary and not being able to cover. I think having a guy like Quinnen Williams, we think he obviously is, we know he's a great run stopper, but he can also get some pressure up the middle too. And if they say that takeaways come in bunches, could those bunches start tonight? Because Geno Smith of the Raiders is a guy, 12 interceptions. He's thrown more interceptions than touchdowns this year. So I think this could be the night where maybe they can start getting some bunches with some takeaways, particularly through the air with interceptions.
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, so Christy, when it comes to trying to slow down Ashton Genty tonight and having Quinnen Williams, do you imagine seeing we'll have like Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, and Osa Odighizuwa on the field together at times?
I think that you're going to see Osa lined up outside. The way that they were doing the pregame when they had 4 down and they were working first team, they had Osa on the left end and Ezeraku on the right end, and they had Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams on the inside. And then the other thing is, remember, they're going to go by series with middle linebacker with Kenneth Murray likely getting the start, and then Logan Wilson coming in on the second series. And what is defense all about? Alignment, assignment, execution. And Logan Wilson is new to the terminology for the Cowboys, but I think that even though he's new to the system, he can help with that alignment and with the communication.
Love it, Christy. Thank you so much. We appreciate the time and enjoy the game. We'll be listening.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Brian.
Absolutely. There she goes, Cowboy sideline reporter Christy Scales here with her keys to the game. Yes, she noted earlier it will be Kenneth Murray starting at linebacker with the green dot tonight, but it looks like they're going to be going series to series with him and Logan Wilson. Yeah. Do you think they could get to a point in the game where maybe Wilson's playing better and they just kind of let that ride?
Absolutely. If Wilson feels comfortable with what's going on, and you've got to be very mindful, though. You've got several guys that are going to be on the field. And what if this game turns into kind of a tight game like they had, like the Raiders had against Denver? Do you putting guys out there that might not know the full playbook if you're trying to get a stop? Maybe they're better players, but you kind of worry about making a call. Then all of a sudden, maybe the call does not get talked about or communicated well enough. Those are the things that have to worry about that. With so many guys on the new guys involved. And then also, too, like I said, if the game turns into be very tight.
John Machota said that in pregame warm-ups, it looks like your guy Kalen Carson's going to be starting at corner.
Yeah, I kind of felt like that was going to happen tonight. He's clearly last week what they were able to do against Arizona. He looked comfortable in zone. He looked comfortable in man. We'll see. The Raiders. We've talked about that. One of the best in the league when it comes to separation, and their receivers might not be household names, but they're doing something right, getting open.
All right, what's your prediction for this one?
I think it's going to be a close game. Dallas, I think, is going to be 26, and Raiders probably 23. I think there are going to be some issues for both teams back and forth.
I love it. All right, give me Cowboys 30, Raiders 24, and let's go ahead and keep the good vibes going here. All right, kickoff is around the corner with Brad, Babe, and Christy. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
The Whataburger Buffalo Ranch Chicken Strip Sandwich is back, and it's still bigger and better than any chicken sandwich out there. More chicken strips, more Monterey Jack cheese smothered in buffalo and ranch, all on a 5-inch bun. There's so much crispy, cheesy, saucy goodness, you make